4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
There were parents there of 8 and 9-year-olds who their kids are hearing some terms for sexual acts and then came back to the parents and said, "What is this?"
Ooh, that's a tough one. My daughter's memorized about 15 Nicki Minaj songs.
Oh, boy.
So she knows a little more than I am. Sometimes I go to her with questions.
What is WAP?
You know, it's an interesting moment, and it's related. When your kid drops a curse word on you, my daughter, like 9, didn't like this teacher. My daughter's this cute little thing. She goes, "Bleeping Miss What's her name?" I was like, whoa.
Working blue. Wow.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Someone has to tell me why Dak Prescott is only 5th in MVP odds. That's a little low. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Another dominant Dallas win, and Perloff is already looking at me sideways.
What did Dak Prescott have to do with that either?
70 points in 2 games. You're telling me he's 5th in MVP odds? No shot. Dallas is working right now on both sides of the ball.
You could put a store-bought dummy there and win by 70 points. Get out of here. Dak Prescott hasn't even done anything yet. And I'm a Dak guy.
How about mistake-free football? How about completing his first 13 passes yesterday? It was an absolute clinic, and the defense is going to get all the attention for Dallas, and rightfully so, because they're incredible. Micah Parsons actually should be rivaling Dak in MVP for MVP odds, and I'm being serious. So we haven't had a defensive MVP since Lawrence Taylor, and that's the person who Micah Parsons keeps getting compared to the most, Perloff. I mean, another sensational performance against a Jets offensive line that we already knew was pretty bad. I mean, obviously, we saw what happened with Aaron Rodgers against the Buffalo Bills in the opener. I don't think this is fool's gold, though. Mm-hmm. I still thought that the Jets had a very good defense. So going into this game, how the Cowboys were able to run on them, move on them, I thought was a really good sign.
Dak Prescott in 2 games. First game, he threw for 143 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. This game he threw for 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. If I told you he'd have less than 400 yards and less than 2 touchdowns through 2 games, you would have said, oh, my God, we're in major crisis mode. There's no way he's getting MVP if he averages a 180-yard a game. The defense is going to have to get worse, Maggie, to help Dak look better. They've not done anything.
No interceptions. And
no interceptions. He hits 100 and he's less than 200 yards a game. That's like Tim Tebow numbers.
No, not true. You know with the eye test that it's more than that and it's better than that.
No. Listen, the first week, he didn't have to show up at all. The defense spotted him 14
Did all
points.
types of things.
14 points. No. He's done nothing. This is Micah Parsons' team. This is purely about him. It's like Lawrence Taylor with the Giants in the 80s. Dak, you're right. No interceptions. Although, I have to tell you, there was a play that we all saw when he threw the ball right to Sauce Gardner that should have been a pick six.
Listen, Sauce Gardner is one of the best corners in the league. If you're that good, catch it.
But yeah, that being said, but that was there's 2022 Dak. Why would he throw that ball? That was last year. He kept throwing that silly out pattern, and he made that one mistake, and then they just shut down the passing offense.
They were playing down offensive linemen in Dallas and no Brandon Cooks, and the offense still was just humming against the Jets defense that is very good.
Right. If you're Dak Prescott, you do not throw that pass. You do not flirt with those kind of passes, and that's on the offense. Then they shut it down. Basically, then you didn't see anything from the Cowboys the rest of the game because they knew they had that game won.
I mean, 11 catches for CeeDee Lamb. Someone's getting him the ball.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you see anything from the Cowboys? Did they need to do anything offensively there? Nothing. They basically just showed up, and Zach Wilson, for some reason, the Jets kept dropping back and kept giving Micah Parsons something to target at. So there's no way, the Dallas hasn't had to do anything. And guess what? Dak's not going to need to do anything next week against Arizona either. And then the week after against New England. Dak's going to go into week 5 with 4 touchdowns and 180 yards per game.
Yes, and you and I have been doing this long enough that I can tell you when you start winning, and even though the defense is leading the way, and I'll give you that, and that's what feels different for Dallas this year. The defense has been good in the past. This feels on another level, on a San Francisco 49ers level. This is maybe surpassed the 49ers. I mean, this is a really good defense. We know that. So you mean to tell me that if we are 5 games in or 4 games in, what do they play San Francisco week 5, right?
They're going to be 4-0 for 4 games. Yeah, no, the hype will be crazy, but it'll be all about Parsons.
And the momentum, though, is going to build here, I think, for the defense, yes, and for Micah Parsons, but also for Dak. I mean, I think, listen, I don't want to make this all about Dak because Micah Parsons is the star from yesterday, but this is going to be, if he can play mistake-free football and they keep turning in wins, he's going to keep climbing up, especially because the people who are in front of him in this MVP conversation, not everyone's playing awesome. It's been some real up and down besides Tua, who we'll talk about in a little bit.
So next week, Cardinals, another exhibition game, 3rd in a row for the Cowboys. Preseason, they get a full preseason. They're psyched. Week 4, Patriots.
Yeah,
I know it's in Dallas.
Tough.
That could be tough. You think they're going to let Dak throw the ball a lot against the Patriots? No way. That's a one way that you can run into trouble against the Patriots. Week after that, San Francisco. They're not going to let Dak do anything in that game. They are going to, if they're smart, be super conservative in all these games because their defense can win these all for them.
So you're not impressed with Dallas then? You think this is fool's gold?
I'm impressed with their defense. I do, however, I think that people are assuming that Dallas is way better than Philadelphia. I think that's a huge TBD. I can't wait for them because Parsons is right now, he's definitely a defensive player of the year, but arguably MVP of the league right now. He's sacking guys and he's doing that little crawl thing. It's terrifying to anybody.
Crawl.
But he's played, I looked up the stat, he's played 5 games against the Eagles and the Niners in his career. He's had a half a sack in all 5 games. Didn't have any sacks against the Eagles last year. Hasn't ever had a sack against Kyle Shanahan's offense. So
it doesn't mean he can't disrupt the game, by the way, just if he doesn't have a sack.
But his production, like the whole Cowboys defense is great against bad teams and is very mixed against good teams. So I do worry, is the Cowboys' success so far as a function of who they played, or is it a function of how dominant they are? Because they clearly look like the class of the league right now, but it's so hard to tell because Zach Wilson is not a threat. And Week 1, the Giants played really poorly. So I'm going to withhold a little judgment on there. But are you all in? Have you seen enough?
Listen, I'm being called a bandwagon jumper in our chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio by Mike McDaniel. Maggie's a bandwagon jumper. Mike, check their receipts. I picked the Dallas Cowboys to win the Super Bowl this year. I'm not jumping, and that was weeks ago. I'm not jumping on any bandwagon. I thought they were going to be this good. I think they are this good. Just underscoring the defense, 7 turnovers and 9 sacks in just 2 games. I mean, it's been a full throttle. Would this been different with Aaron Rodgers playing for the Jets? Probably. But again, that's where I turn to the offense and say, well, this was a Jets team that was a top 5 defense last year, that was expected to still be a very good defense, and I think is. And I thought the offense hanging 30 on them was rather impressive. I mean, I know it's complimentary football and you don't have much on the offensive side with Wilson, but that's not nothing.
I don't know. Did they need 30 points? They had that way. I mean, honestly, the Jets were one play, Garrett Wilson touchdown. The rest of it was nothing. I don't understand why the Jets didn't run the ball and try and control the clock and keep it. Please explain to me why Zach Wilson threw it 27 times.
I don't know. Maybe they thought because they're trailing that they had to throw the ball a lot, but they were never, to be fair, I mean, until it got away from them late, there were opportunities to have a little more balance on the offense early, but
they weren't trailing by that much. I think
that's because Dallas's defense.
So Zach Wilson was 12 for 27, and they ran the ball just 16 times in the whole game. Like, you can't throw the ball 27 times and run at 16. It makes me wonder, is that Jets coaching staff? Well, do they know what they're doing?
I mean, listen, Nathaniel Hackett's never been a personal show favorite around here. I don't think we all have a lot of faith in him. We had a lot of faith in Aaron Rodgers vouching for Nathaniel Hackett. But when Rodgers is out of the picture like he is now, then, okay, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they have teams like New England, Philadelphia, San Francisco, who are going to try and run it down their throat. Because isn't that the strategy against Micah Parsons? He's small, try and run at him. Doesn't really seem to work at all, but that's besides the point. So we're going to see a completely different test. That's all I'm saying, and this is the Eagles fan of me. Just wait. We have to see Dallas do this against a really good team before we crown them. And besides...
I crowned them before they played a snap this season.
We've seen multiple 12-5 seasons.
Okay.
I can't wait till that divisional round of the playoffs because... they've been favored in that game before, and Mike McCarthy has found the banana peel, and I don't know why that would be different now.
Okay, but don't you think the defense does feel like they've turned it up a notch, even from a team that's already had a very good defense?
No, they're the same exact defense as last year, aren't they?
Well, it just feels like because they've allowed 10 points in the first 2 weeks, I think they found another notch here and another angle. Craig is telling me, Maggie, you don't think those defensive players on the Jets are down a bit after losing Rodgers? I'm sorry. The defensive side, they're professionals. I mean, people might be in their feelings on the Jets about losing Rodgers, but you got to pick up the pieces and move on here. You don't have time to feel sorry for yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, listen, last year Micah Parsons just fed off Daniel Jones. That was... like half his stats were against the Giants. So I don't know. I'm not super impressed by these 2 wins yet. I do think that there's this thing that they're being compared to the 85 Bears and everything.
Well, I mean, everyone's always quick to do that. Everyone's quick to say 85 Bears. Everyone's quick to say, oh, that's the best insert game I've seen. You know, it's like Colorado State, great game. It's not the best game I've ever seen. We'll talk about that later as well.
I feel like some really, really good college teams could whoop on Zach Wilson. I just do not see any talent in that passing offense. I couldn't understand that game. By the way, that game was a horrible watch. It was just so aesthetically unpleasing.
There were much better things to watch in that afternoon.
Yeah, the afternoon was
49ers and the Rams.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Game. What's going on in Denver, starting with 0-2. We're going to get to all of it, and we're going to try.
Yeah, the Jets-Cowboys just felt ragged because the Jets just played right into their hands. Don't let Micah Parsons beat up your young quarterback, Maggie.
I was thinking, do you think Zach Wilson is like in full traction today? That dude was taking some hits. He has to be in a full body cast today. He's not on the injury report. That's not like an official thing. I'm just saying unofficially he's got to be in a body bag.
And the amazing thing, too, is that they are not bringing in a veteran. There's no traction at all.
No, because Rodgers is going to be coming back. Didn't you hear? He's going to be doing some crazy therapy that no one has ever done, that he's going to get back somehow in 4 months.
Amazing.
It's impossible. Consider me a doubter. Count me as a doubter, Aaron.
Put me on that train, too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to be a doubter here. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. See you guys on the phones. Definitely fired up. Want to hear from you about the Cowboys for sure. And we're going to get to a lot more, including the quarterback putting his team in an impossible position. Who is it? And what are they going to do about it? We'll get to, not Zach Wilson, someone else. We'll get to all that in just a moment. Again, you want to watch the show, come on in, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. We say a hello to all of our amazing CBS Sports Radio affiliates coast to coast. We're on the free Odyssey app, which you can download and take with you wherever you go. We're also on Sirius XM, channel 158. We're back with your Cowboys calls in just a moment after this. And this show is sponsored in part by BetterHelp. Do you ever find that just as you're trying to fall asleep, just when you want to fall asleep, your brain suddenly won't stop talking? Do your thoughts start racing right before bed or at other inopportune moments? Well, it turns out one great way to make those racing thoughts go away is to talk them through. Therapy gives you a place to do that so you can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace.
You know, we've all been through some unpredictable times over the past few years, and it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Get a break from your thoughts with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com /MNP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com /MNP.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You can stream the NFL on Westwood One for free, sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports, or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help you find a fix for free. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Can I just read you a buddy of ours wrote a little line about Micah Parsons that I thought was fun.
Okay, sure.
So Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, NBC Sports, was writing about how Parsons has a great chance to become the first defensive MVP since 1986. He goes, this is Florio. Parsons moves with the suddenness of a striking cobra, forcing his way past blockers and into the face of the quarterback.
Got it, Yates.
I'm just saying that this guy is so good that he is making NFL writers trying to be poetic. That is
Yeah.
a bad sign. But it is incredible to me that the sort of momentum around Micah Parsons for MVP, I do think is really interesting because teams are playing right into his hands. Don't drop back ever against the Cowboys. Run the ball every play. Give us a call, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Are you ready to jump on board with Maggie, the Cowboys Super Bowl train after 2 weeks? Or is it more a function of their opponents?
855-212-4CBS. Our pal Big Dave is up first here in Kentucky. Dave, noted Cowboys fan. How you doing, dude?
Hey, I'm doing great. Listen, I totally agree with McLevin, though. I think Dak is getting entirely too much credit, and I think the Cowboys are overrated and have absolutely zero chance to make it to the Super Bowl.
Why?
Are you being sarcastic again?
Slightly.
Okay, so Dave,
yeah.
what's gotten in the water down there in Kentucky? You all right?
No, I'm just kidding. Let me tell you. Hey, let me tell you. You want to know who my MVP is so far? You want to know wwho the most comfortable man in professional football is these days?
Who?
His name is Mike McCarthy. The guy is a changed man. I'm telling you, this has changed everything about him. The play call is keeping him occupied. I think he's entirely more comfortable. I think, listen, I'm being serious. I'm not being sarcastic about that. Now, let me ask you a question. The Cowboys made the Giants look like that they didn't even belong on a football field, and they come back and beat the Arizona Cardinals. How bad do the Arizona Cardinals suck?
But we know, Dave, we know what's happening with the Arizona Cardinals. Dave, great to hear from you. Thank you. We know what's going on with the Cardinals. The Cardinals are now really racing to the bottom here. I mean,
yeah. Now, let me ask you though, what is it that's different now? I mean, the Cowboys have been 12-5, 2 seasons in a row, big favorites against San Francisco 2 years ago at home at AT&T.
Yep.
Lost the game. Last year, lost to San Francisco again, this time in San Francisco. Why would we, and you picked them in the Super Bowl, like what's different?
I do think that the defense has turned it up a notch. And maybe, honestly, maybe Dave hit on something with a Mike McCarthy with the play calling. Maybe it's a little bit more consistent than Kellen Moore, which got, he was accused of being a little more like playing a game of Madden as opposed to like being part of a full cohesive team. Sort of feel like he was calling plays on an island. And by the way, Chargers now off to an 0-2 start where Kellen Moore is now the offensive coordinator. But here's the thing. I don't know what Dave was talking about that McCarthy is now like he's like, what do you say, occupied now?
Yeah, I like that. That's really
It's
good.
interesting though, because McCarthy always had some questionable moves at the end of the game where you would think, game management stuff and calling plays and how the offense was going to run at the end of games. At that point, I would think that he would be totally locked in.
But still, Giants, Jets, Cardinals. I mean,
you play who you play, Pearl. If you want to go through the Eagles schedule from last year.
Yeah, but Vegas doesn't set a line and be like, oh, okay, well, they beat the Cardinals. They must be a good team. I mean, what do you mean you play who you play? Everyone knows strength of schedule is a real thing. If you play a 1-15 team, that's a lot different than playing a 15-1 team.
No, I get that. But, I mean, Jalen Hurts was, second in MVP last year? Did he finish second?
Yeah.
And they didn't play anybody all year. What did it matter?
He was 14-1 as a starter. They played enough good teams.
Did they, though? That was the whole thing about the Eagles. But that was the whole thing about the Eagles, though, is that they had this really easy schedule, and it didn't hurt the MVP odds for Jalen Hurts. That's my point.
So, but if I gave you a bet right now, would you pick Prescott or Parsons for MVP?
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, you got to go with the quarterback. It's basically a quarterback award,
guys,
even if Parsons actually deserves it.
It's 2 weeks. Why are we handing out the MVP and the Heisman and all these things?
I'm just making a point.
Right. All right.
Mo is in San Diego. Hello, Mo.
Hello, you fine folks. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
Here's the thing with Dak, okay? And you're correct. The opponents haven't been great, but there's a reason why they don't look good, and that's because the other opponent makes them look that bad. The Cowboys have a very tough schedule. They're playing the AFC East and the NFC West, okay? And so they don't have an easy schedule, but somehow there will be excuses made about that. You can't play until the playoffs come, so you have to wait, but you have to take the games as they come. But my question about Dak is this.
Yeah.
What do you want from the guy? Last year, the whole narrative was he put the ball in harm's way. He didn't have to do it. They put up points, but the turnovers were going to hurt him. You didn't need the turnovers. You were going to win with the defense.
Right.
So you now have Mike McCarthy calling the plays. It's complimentary football. It's playing to the strengths. The Jets have an amazing defense, and somehow they were still able to put up 30 points and no turnovers.
That's what I'm saying. I think Dak deserves credit for playing mistake-free football. I listen, Mo, I'm with you that maybe there's like this double standard thing going on, and I see exactly what you're laying out. So thank you for the phone call. I think this is exactly what you want from your quarterback. Don't screw it up. I mean, Josh Allen screwed it up week 1 against the Jets, and obviously, Dak Prescott has played a smarter game against the Jets. Now, Allen bounced back to his credit and played a good game against Stu's Raiders. But he's right. Like, I want my quarterback. He completed 81% of his passes yesterday. It's crazy. He was perfect, almost. 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
Let me ask you a question. If he had, before the game, said, I'm going to honor Michael Jordan and his left-handed free throw by playing left-handed, would the Cowboys have won that game?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. They easily would have won that game. What are we talking about here? Dak beat the Jets. It was. Did I not? Did I watch the same quarterback you guys did? Zach Wilson was terrible.
How about this? Time of possession for this game. The Cowboys had the ball for 42 minutes and 15 seconds, and the Jets had the ball for 17 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Jets defense might have been tired out a little bit.
Why did the Jets not run the ball? What the heck is going on with Nathaniel Hackett? I'm sorry, Rodgers. I don't think you need this miracle surgery. I would go somewhere else next year. Just get out of there.
Oh, you think just
I think the Jets
don't get the surgery and just
I think Mike Sampler's former team, the Jets, played a really dumb game.
Well, yeah, I think the offense might have been a little psyched out.
Well,
You're going into a gunfight with a knife, with Zach Wilson.
If it's 2nd and 9, just hand the ball off and fight to live another day. Your defense looked great.
They're going into a gunfight with a spaghetti noodle. What do you mean a knife?
Like, their defense was fine. If they had given him any chance with field position, they would have held up just fine, but I don't know what they were doing.
Our pal Jay is in Alabama, wants to talk about what we saw Saturday night with the Colorado Buffaloes and Colorado State Rams. Jay, what's up?
Well, first of all, I let my superstition take over. I really had it in my head that because I was watching the game, Colorado was losing, so I turned the game off. Drove up to Circle K, I drove up the street, got me a Gatorade at Circle K. Plus, there's a girl up there I like talking to, and then I think I went to the bank just to check. I just made up excuses to just keep driving around.
Well, listen, you got to support the team. If it's and you're bringing the bad mojo, then you got to change it.
Yeah, I sat in the parking lot until I heard it on the radio, and I really thought they lost, and then I heard Colorado said a double overtime win. That's when I immediately turned the car off, ran inside the house, and started watching the highlights and everything. But I hope I have enough time to spill all this. But as far as, first of all, we talk about Shedeur all the time, but quiet as kept. Shiloh's going to the league himself as a safety. He had forced fumble, a pick six. He always, I think every game he's been almost leading the team in tackles from the safety position. So you really can't deny him either. It's just his brother overshadows him. And I think Shiloh's okay with that. Now, as far as Shedeur,
special.
I'm like you, Maggie. I'm a lifelong Patriots hater.
Yeah.
I'm a Brady hater, but for as much hate I have for Brady, the football player, I have the equal amount of respect for Brady himself. And, watching Shedeur play and finally caught on to it, we see all those photo ops. They're not photo ops, basically, of Brady working with Shedeur. Those aren't photo ops. He's really putting the work in with that kid. And the Brady mojo is real.
Yeah.
Because if you see it rubbed off on Shedeur, and what we saw, that 98-yard drive and everything, it's just like Brady. Don't leave time on the clock. He will eat you up. And that's what we saw. If he makes it to the league, he is going to make it to the league. And if he's playing like that to the league over and over, he's consistent like that, they're going to be calling him Black Brady. First of all. And I'm going to tell you right now, and Maggie, I'm telling you right now, you better hope to God
he doesn't go to the Patriots.
If Belichick is still coaching, and he gets drafted by the Patriots, you better hope to God that never even happens.
Jay, here's the thing. I've got a problem. Jay, you're the best. Thank you so much. I already have a problem about worrying about things that aren't real. I don't know if this is anyone else. I worry about the future and what could be. Nothing that's actually happening in reality, just what could be. So now I got to add to the list of when I lay my head on the pillow at night. Now I got to add to the laundry list. What if Shedeur Sanders goes to the Patriots?
Yeah, well, I just want to follow the logic here, by the way, just so we go. Colorado beats TCU.
Yeah.
Nebraska and Colorado State.
Yeah.
And now Shedeur Sanders is Tom Brady, who won 7 Super Bowls.
Obviously. Of course he is.
What the? How are we judging so much off of 2 and 3 games?
No.
He just called him Black Brady, man.
I know, and I love that, actually. And I think that probably Shedeur should just go ahead and trademark it or something. But I think you watch how Shedeur and how they responded in this game. I know they were 20-point underdogs, but
20-point
favorites, but they were 20-point underdogs at TCU, and that was an impressive win, even though TCU might not be who they were a season ago.
And that equals 7 Super Bowls?
Duh.
I don't know. Is that fair to Shedeur Sanders? Can't we talk about somebody in between Tom Brady and I don't know?
No.
And by the way, if
Shedeur was amazing.
If the Patriots do draft Shedeur Sanders, he should just go back to college because that Patriots receiving core, oh boy.
He might want to bring a few of his receivers.
I would not worry about it. You could have Shedeur Sanders. You could actually have Brady and Shedeur Sanders platooning, and that team is terrible. So Shedeur should stay in Colorado.
We'll have more on the Colorado game in just a moment. I want to get to JB, who is in Indy, has a thought on the Cowboys. JB, hello.
Hey, Maggie. How you doing? Yeah, McLovin, man, you're killing me over here. I'm a lifelong Cowboy fan. I understand you're an Eagles fan and all that. And, I agree. Dak is a weak link on the Cowboys, always has been.
I don't really think that. But
not this year.
I think he is this year, too. But I think the reason is Mike McCarthy is purposefully calling plays to keep the game out of Dak's hand, and he's not letting Dak make mistakes to lose the game. With that defense, you just need somebody to not lose the game.
Yeah.
Dak doesn't need to go out there and win it. The problem I have is with McLovin over here with all his hate, and I know he's an Eagles fan, but so let me ask you, Maggie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take the Dallas Cowboys from last year with a washed-up Ezekiel Elliott, a terrible play caller in Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
Let's take that team from last year. Let's put them in the playoffs. They play one game against the New York Giants. They'll beat them. And let's play them against the San Francisco 49ers with Christian McCaffrey at quarterback. Do they go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Well, that's what the Eagles did. I don't hear him complaining about how easy they had it.
Yes.
No, JB, to be fair, McCaffrey was hurt too.
Yeah. yeah. I don't think they had McCaffrey.
Whoever was behind McCaffrey was playing quarterback, I think.
Yes. Listen, and that's why I said to Perloff, that's why I think that I think the Dak MVP thing, I know it sounds a little crazy, guys. I understand it, but he's fifth in odds right now. And Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. I'm not denying that. But Jalen Hurts played against a lot of bad teams, and he was still second in MVP. That didn't hurt him with the voters just because of the quality of the opponent. Like, MVP voters, I don't think, are looking at strength of schedule. JB, thank you for the phone call.
I mean, if Dak's not going to be allowed to throw for 200 yards a game, it's going to be hard for him. By the way, I am like...
But no one else is going out and grabbing it yet. It's early.
I hear you, but I am the show Dak supporter and always have been. I think Dak is way closer to top. I've been on the Dak train the entire time. I thought last year was purely 100% a function of his wide receivers getting hit in the numbers, bobbling the ball up in the air and causing 10 interceptions. Yeah. It was obvious that last year his receivers sucked, but I do worry a little bit. There were a couple signs that bothered me yesterday. I thought the near pick six with Sauce Gardner, like he keeps doing that play. He did it against San Francisco 2 plays in a row in the playoffs last year. And that CeeDee Lamb had in a meaningless game against the Jets that they were going to win anyway, had to do a full flip in the air for a 10-yard catch. Dude, like, you're the whole team, CeeDee Lamb. You have to protect yourself. So I just think after 2 games, I do worry. I think people are saying it really well. They're keeping it conservative so Dak doesn't have to do a lot, which is, you would think, smart, right?
I think it's smart. Stu, can we hear Jerry Jones talking about Mike McCarthy after 2 games, please?
I can't say enough about how Mike has prepared this team the last 2 weeks, and so give him a really extraordinary amount of credit here, Mike McCarthy.
I love that he had to clarify who he's talking about. This is the head coach I'm talking about.
Mike McCarthy.
Here's Jerry. He's very pleased with Dak after 2 weeks.
Obviously, he's getting that ball out quick. I like what we're asking him to do and not do. All of the things that we had hoped to chip away, if you will, at a total picture offensively of how to improve his ability just to be Dak and go out there and do what he does well.
Yeah, I mean, reading between the lines there, I think you guys are onto something, which is make it a little bit simpler for Dak and don't have to rely on him making huge wow throws.
Yeah, keep it careful. By the way, just can I give you a couple numbers on Dak real quick? In his career, the last 5 years, he averaged 306 yards passing a game 5 years ago, 371, 278, 238 last year, 198 this year. So he's cut his yardage in half, basically.
It's early.
But no, I like it. I mean, honestly, I'd rather them have Dak throw 50 times a game and make mistakes. Otherwise, you got to keep this defense away from the quarterback. If you were playing against the Cowboys, how would you do it, Maggie?
I mean, just beg for the run game.
Yeah.
This is basically it. Again, 855-212-4CBS. That's how you can get in touch with the show. Coming up, we will get more into the amazing scene Saturday night, late Saturday for us on the East Coast in Colorado. And we have the latest on two-way star Travis Hunter for Deion's Buffaloes before they go to Eugene to face the Oregon Ducks. My Oregon Ducks. Boy, am I conflicted this week. We get more into that after this CBS Sports Update. Here's Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
And it's sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Patrick Mahomes has been the NFL's most valuable player. He has a new deal that makes him the highest paid player over the next few years after the Chiefs restructured his contract to give him over $210 million over the next 4 seasons, the largest amount over that period. They could also revisit the situation after 2026. Joe Burrow's status for next week is uncertain, according to head coach Zach Taylor, because of Burrow's calf injury. The Dolphins' Jalen Waddle is in concussion protocol. There's a Monday night doubleheader to close out Week 2. The first game up features the Panthers and Saints in Charlotte, with Carolina looking to bounce back after falling last week in Frank Reich's debut. The other is the Steelers and Browns in Pittsburgh. Cleveland has not won at Acrisure Stadium since 2003. The Giants are hopeful that Saquon Barkley will be able to play Thursday night, but more will be known after an MRI today. Bottom of the 6th, it's the Guardians with a 4-1 lead over the Royals. I'm Rich Acker.
CBS Sports Radio is everywhere, at home, in your car, and of course on your phone and tablet. Find us on your local affiliate, SiriusXM Channel 158, or the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Okay, time to ask the pros, where you can ask us a question. It's brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply tweet your question at CBS Sports Radio or at Maggie and Pearl using the hashtag #AskThePros. Be listening later in the show when we might answer your question. Got to think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Welcome back, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It is Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio. We have so much NFL to do, but the big story from the weekend, the Colorado Buffaloes outlasting Colorado State, what turned out to be an absolute thriller, double overtime. Colorado wins. Let's get to our Daily Deion.
Daily.
Do you believe that?
Deion.
You believe that?
Okay, we'll get to Travis Hunter in a moment, but here is Deion Sanders, who was asked... Geez, how do I set this up? Deion Sanders has become known for a lot of things. One of them is that he keeps a ranking of his 4 children. I believe it's 4, right? 4 kids, and who is like the top spot? It's like they're playing ladder matches at the tennis club or something, but whoever is like first, second, third, fourth, apparently on the good graces that they're in, their father's good graces. So he was asked after the game if Shiloh, the safety, is moving up the kid rankings after he had a very crucial pick 6 in the game.
He is moving up. He is moving on up like the Jeffersons. But Shador is straight out balling too. So it's tough. My kids' rankings are tough. It's a serious run right now. I'm the only one that's honest about ranking my kids. You guys act like you love all of them the same and you don't. I don't know why y'all act like that.
And if you want to get some uncomfortable laughter from the press corps, just call people out for not ranking their kids. How could you not rank your kids? Like, that's the Deion Sanders experience.
By the way, I have 2 kids, and this is going to sound like I'm being a politician, but no, I really don't have a 1-2 ranking. Like,
Deion Sanders would call you a liar.
I don't think that's a thing. Is that a thing?
I don't think it is either.
4, it might be. Because 4, there's going to be some bad apples in that lot. I don't think if you have 2. Because 1 and 2 ranking, there's not enough movement. But okay.
Well, they're vying for the top position.
Yeah. I mean, there's not enough competition because competition drives success.
Do your kids not have a sibling rivalry?
Not for my attention or my wife's attention, no. I mean, not really. They don't have a sibling rivalry because one's older, one's younger. I think when you get to 4, then you're talking power rankings. And that makes some sense to me. But to base it on football seems really... I don't know.
Well, it's not talking about football, too. He was talking about Deion Jr., who's talking about his Twitter game.
Yeah, there's a lot.
He does all the social media.
Yeah. I don't know. I was like, who does the dishes and stuff like that? I think that would be much more important for kids ranking.
Grown-ups.
Well, and the fact that he's talking about, like, ranking them by who he loves most. It's one thing if you want to rank your kids by who's having a better week, who got the better grades, or, like, who had a better week on the field. He's talking about who he loves more. Like, I would love my kids equally, but maybe one of them has like a better week than the other one or something.
I think it's that he loves them all the same, but it's like who's just occupying the top spot now? Like who's really on a heater? And honestly, Shador really is really got to be running away with this thing.
But if there was an actual family, if this really happened, where if you have 4 kids and you ranked them and posted your rankings based on grades, that would also be ridiculous. No parent's going to do that.
No, I think that probably wouldn't be very fair.
But you can't post them on your stat line. It's like he's like,
I feel bad for his daughter. She doesn't really. How's she going to get in the game?
She apparently gave him a great hug, and that really helped out.
Okay. So all right, the criteria for these rankings is utterly fascinating. Yeah, like this is really interesting. Twitter game, that's fun. Also, too, with Shador was bleeding, and Deion went all dad and sort of cleaned up his nose. I was wondering.
Yes.
I know we got more to get to here, but is it possible that Deion's massive disruption to college football has more to do with the fact that his son is an absolute baller? Like, is he going to be able to do this after Shador?
Well, that's going to be the challenge because I don't think Deion's going anywhere, and Shador's definitely looks like he's going to the NFL. So he's going to have to replace Shador at one point.
My theory about Shador is maybe he stays at Colorado, gets $20 million to play there next year because he wants to be number one, and Caleb Williams might be number one. That's a good theory.
$20 million?
Yeah, I mean, the guys are getting 10 now.
I guess. He's already in a couple commercials and stuff.
This is the most hyped team in the NIL era. Why not?
I guess so. I think it's funny. I think it's funny though, because like Perloff's whole thing is about how all players are just a product of the system. You know, Tom Brady's system quarterback is a famous Perloff take. You know, Cooper Kupp system wide receiver. Obviously, Puka Nacua, we see maybe that's true, but it's like Deion's the opposite. It's like Shador's so good that the coach Deion is a product of Shador.
Well, it does. Yeah, you're right. That
you're
is
really going against the grain there.
But I was just wondering though, like, could Deion do this if he didn't have a great quarterback? I'd probably not.
Well, I don't think. I mean, unless you were really locked into every Jackson State game, I don't think you had any clue that Shador was going to be this good.
And you couldn't judge based on the level. That was an FCS school. You couldn't judge based on the level of competition.
I did not see this, but Samter vows that this is true. That Deion Sanders' mother, his mother Connie, was in the locker room after the game because obviously Jay Norvell, the Colorado State coach, we've all been through this, called out Deion for wearing the hat and the sunglasses, basically said, my mom raised me right? Wear the hat and the sunglasses. I wouldn't wear a hat and sunglasses inside. So Deion brought his mom to the, I don't know how I missed this. Here is Connie, is our last name Sanders? Here's Deion's mom responding to Jay Norvell.
He alluded to the fact that his mama raised him, and my mama didn't raise me right.
I raised him right. Also told him to always be yourself. If you have to kick ass, kick ass.
I like that. Now I see where Deion gets it from. She's a good talker.
Kick ass, kick ass.
She was very comfortable on the mic there. All right, so go Connie. We like that.
The best part of the video, though, is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, just standing there in the background behind Deion with his arms crossed, nodding his head like he's a part of it.
Yeah, well, The Rock was everywhere. Writer strike, actor strike. Rock's got nothing to do but show up at some Colorado games. We love it. Can I nitpick one thing about the game? Sure. I know we're far removed from the game now. It's Monday, talking about Saturday. But when Colorado State had the ball, they're up a touchdown, they're up 8, and it was right before the 2-minute warning in regulation, obviously. And they had a 4th and 2 at the Colorado 45.
Yeah.
You got to go for it there. They ended up punting. And obviously, then we know what happens next. Shador leads this incredible touchdown drive. They get that. They get the 2-point conversion that goes to overtime. And then in double overtime, Colorado wins it. But can I just nitpick that coaching decision? You're on the road. You've got Colorado against the ropes. You got a 4th and 2 at their 45. Go for it.
You say obviously, like anyone. I don't know a single person who was actually up for that game, 2:45 on the East Coast.
I'm just saying, you could go back and watch it.
That's your nitpick of that game?
That's
How
my
about the fact that Jay Norvell comes on the week before with this moral stance about wearing sunglasses hats, then has literally 5 plays in one of the cheapest hits in recent college football history? Like, if Colorado, God bless them, I would have punched every single player on that Colorado State team. That was so dirty, the Travis Hunter hit.
Yeah, Henry Blackburn is the Colorado State safety who came over and hit Travis Henry. I'm glad you brought that up because it brings us back now to what we found out today, which is Travis Hunter, according to Deion, is going to be out for 3 weeks.
Oh, what a bummer.
Skip Bayless is reporting that he has a lacerated kidney, but Deion would not confirm that.
3 weeks, of course, that means Oregon and USC.
Are out.
That's all we want to see. I don't think, however, that Hunter is as important as Shedeur because they moved the ball fine after Hunter went out of the game.
No, offensively, you can make up for it. I think defensively is where they're going to miss him. That's the thing about having a two-way star like this. It's like it's now you're losing two players.
Well, I mean, listen.
In one.
If you told me a month ago that we were even talking about this, I would never have thought Colorado was going to be able to, with a brand new defense, with a defensive line that Deion admitted was kind of weak coming into the season, could hang with Oregon and USC's offense. Like Travis Hunter or no Travis Hunter, it's still going to be I don't know how they're going to do in these games. It's going to be fascinating. The line moved to 21 for Oregon. It was 14 last week.
Yep.
I'm betting Colorado, aren't you? I mean, how could anyone not?
No, but now this puts me in a tough spot because I am rooting for the Oregon Ducks this year.
Yeah, but 21, that seems really rich.
Yeah. I really thought also that Blackburn, I know it was a personal foul, obviously, that gets called, but, I mean, he could have been ejected for that.
I can't believe he wasn't ejected.
He should have been.
The ball hit the ground. He took 3 steps afterwards. Like, that was
The play was over.
I mean, we do see those. It's not like that's the only time anyone's ever made a hit like that.
No, and it wasn't like a helmet-to-helmet type thing. It was like a helmet to ribs, which you can understand probably, and I'm not a doctor, but how a rib gets broken and then lacerates your kidney.
Yeah, I mean, if you were watching Sunday, there must have been 15 helmet-to-helmet shots that were called.
I thought this week was particularly brutal in the NFL.
What is going on?
Yeah.
Actually, I wasn't even mad. I wasn't even mad for the concussions. I'm like, why do defenses want to stay on the field? 3rd down and 10, incompletion,
it's
boom,
stupid.
helmet to helmet.
Yeah,
stupid. It's like coach. They haven't learned anything. I feel like we thought we had made progress, Maggie. I don't know if we had. That hit in the Colorado State game, we saw hits just like that on Sunday.
And it was terrible. And I know Travis Hunter did end up coming back in briefly to the game, which is crazy. But, you knew it was terrible because we have eyes and we watched it. But he takes his helmet off immediately. He's like writhing in pain on the ground. And that's a shame because if he's out 3 weeks or more, I thought his Heisman candidacy, not that it's all about individual awards, but I thought that was really going to take off because we haven't seen anyone do it in this way for so long.
Right, except that Nebraska changed it. They threw it. They didn't even throw to his side of the field more than once the entire game. So you could avoid a cornerback. He could be a good receiver. What I'm worried about is he's a multi-million-dollar NFL player who's not that big.
Should he come back at all?
Well,
he has to play next year, too. He's not eligible this year.
Dang it.
Yeah, 855-212-4CBS. But I think the question might still be valid. If he never played another snap in college football, is he still like the top 5 pick?
Pull a Nick Bosa, pull a Jamar Chase. Why not? I mean, Nick Bosa played part of a season in his junior year, but I don't know.
Not much though.
But NIL helps. I do think all these Colorado, especially those two guys, are going to make a lot of money. They seem very, very visible. If you were marketing, wouldn't you sign those guys up in a heartbeat?
Absolutely. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227.
A quick question I have for you just real quick back to that game.
Yes.
They're 24-point favorites. I know it was an epic comeback and a great way to end the game. Storming the field against Colorado State?
It's college kids. Let them have
the field
fun.
when you're a 24-point favorite? Come on.
Here's the question.
Act like you've been there, Colorado.
Act like they've been there. They won a game last year. They haven't been there in 20 years. I mean, here's the thing. For adults like Samter and others, you're not the only one, who tried, you get 4 years in college. Then you get to root for your team. Okay, if you're a student section, you want to storm the court, go ahead. Do it whenever you don't yuck their yums.
So what's the line?
Nah, I'm not. I'm
at what point do you not storm the field? You storm the field after every win?
So they beat Arizona State. You storm the field?
If it's a double overtime and you were down, you come all the way back. It's like heightened tension. They were scuffles. The other team knocked out your best player or your second best player.
So wait, North Carolina beat App State the other day in overtime. They were supposed to storm the field?
I don't remember the App State coach calling out the North Carolina coach for wearing sunglasses and a hat.
Jay Norvell said 8 words that the media blew into. That's why we're storming the field, because Jay Norvell's, whoever the heck that is, said don't wear sunglasses inside. Let's storm the field.
I think if you're in college, you can storm the field whenever you want. You have carte blanche to storm any field.
I don't know. You got to think about public safety, Maggie.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Coming up, the one question we never thought we'd be asking after 2 weeks in the NFL. Also, should they storm the field? Yes or no? Tell us.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
talking about sports triggers. Mike is in Pennsylvania, has got one.
We never should have let Jimmy Butler go.
No.
Come playoff time?
I was tickled by it. He's got a laugh that makes me laugh. People said Kawhi Leonard in the chat.
Yes. Very much. Wow. Maggie, I think the Sixers are going to win the NBA championship this year.
The Bills will win a Super Bowl.
Don't say that.
The Jets will have a solid, dependable, steady season with no drama.
It's so good.
Can I just do one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Mets are going to figure it out.
That's just mean. We're just piling on Maggie.
It's so easy.
I threw in the Jets, too.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Big week in sports that we are reacting to, including last night's Sunday Night Football. The Miami Dolphins moved to 2-0 behind Tua Tagovailoa. The offense is absolutely humming. Perloff, I hate to do it. I told you so. I told you this defense was going to be good. I know the Chargers put up a lot of yards on them in week 1, but yesterday they were very good.
What?
I told you that the defense was going to be good.
They got lit up by the Chargers, and the Patriots are one of the worst offenses in 15 years of NFL history.
I know, and I thought they did a good job against the Patriots last night.
All you have to do is show up at the stadium and you could do a good job against. Do you see the Patriots receiving core? Is this serious? I can't. Anyway, here's my thing about Tua, the MVP odds.
Yes.
He's getting rid of the ball, but he was in a good position against the Patriots yesterday because they didn't need to do anything. They were like, okay, they were fine with punting the ball yesterday. They just played real conservative. Tua is not holding on to the ball at all, which I think is a function of him staying healthy. So I think that huge yardage game in week 1, I think they're going to see more of what you saw in week 2. Conservative, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Don't keep the play alive. Otherwise, he's going to get hurt, Maggie. So I'm not putting my money on his MVP. Because if he plays where he's dropping back 45 times a game, it's not good.
No, but I don't think that they're going to be playing from behind a lot. So I don't know why he'd be dropping back to throw 45 times. I think they found a good formula here. And Tua is now number 1 in MVP odds. It's a crazy bet. You would never make it because why would you make any season-long bet with Tua? Because he hasn't shown that he can stay healthy for a full year. But in terms of looking at the Dolphins from week to week, as long as he does stay healthy, I think you're getting a glimpse. And while everyone in the NFL is still I think teams are still feeling things out.
Oh, absolutely.
There's still that time. What's coming back on the Dolphins is so super encouraging. They're doing this without their left tackle for the first 2 games. Teron Armstead has been out. Jalen Phillips, one of their best defensive players, was out last night, and they still look great. Against a division opponent on the road in Foxborough, you can say that the offense sucks for the Patriots, but still on the road against a Bill Belichick defense is never easy.
Right, but they scored 24 points, which for them is a bit below. Don't you think the Patriots are sort of a bottom 5, bottom 10 team, though?
Bottom 5? I don't know if they're that bad.
They've lost 2 at home.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Well, they lost to the Eagles, which I think they were 5.5-point underdogs. I mean, no one thought they were going to win that game.
3.5, right?
Was it? I thought they were more.
It was definitely 3.5. Because,
okay.
I lost on that one. Anyway, let's judge them. Okay, 2 weeks they go to Buffalo. What and how last year they played them hard in the playoffs with Skylar Thompson.
Yeah.
I think that is the test. That's a test because Buffalo at least has some pass rushers. We'll get after Tua, and he's going to have to throw because it'll be a high-scoring game. I don't know. I just feel like all the hype about him is premature because if he's going to throw the ball like he did against the Chargers tons and tons of time, he's going to get hit. And I know he's doing jiu-jitsu. They talked about it a lot last night.
I know.
And he's still taking lessons during the season. Did you hear that?
Everyone loves the Tua jiu-jitsu stuff.
What? Yeah, is jiu-jitsu really going to work here? It's a special helmet, which actually begged the question, too. Why wasn't he wearing that helmet before? He's wearing a special concussion helmet. There's a lot going on here. I don't know. Last night's game was So
you were not encouraged. I mean, listen, the late interception was nothing to write home about, but then the Patriots couldn't do anything with the interception, and then the Dolphins turned it into points on the very next possession.
It was kind of a snooze fest they were really playing it, I thought, close to the vest on offense. Where was the Tyreek Hill explosive plays and all that?
I think Belichick's defense is good.
Yeah, but I also thought Miami thought we don't need to score here, so we're going to play that way because New England's offense didn't do anything until the last few minutes of the game, right? So I think they were playing conservative, which is smart. And then Raheem Mostert had a nice game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that is not a true judgment of where the Dolphins are. It's going to be at Buffalo in Week 4.
So you do not think that Tua deserves to be the odds-on for MVP right now?
Honestly, no. I don't think he's. I don't think he has a great MVP. I mean, yes, he's been the MVP so far. That's not a bet I would make. I don't feel like he's going to last.
Which quarterback's been more impressive over the first 2 games? Because I don't know if you can find one.
Okay.
I mean, I've said I thought Dak, 5th in MVP odds, I thought was low.
Yeah, no, but if you're looking at the betting odds, like I just don't feel like Tua is going to keep this kind of production.
Okay, he might not, but who's been better through 2 games?
All right, let's look at the leading passers. Well, Stafford's been unbelievable, but he's not going to win the MVP. I mean, where did that come from? Okay, let's see. We got.
And by the way, we'll get to that game a little bit later.
I'm looking at the top passers. Okay,
Sean McVay. What are you doing?
Number 2, Kirk Cousins. I mean, he is on fire, 0-2. Stafford, on fire, 1-1. C.J. Stroud is 4th.
Give me a little Ravens, a little Lamar. Lamar looks the same. He doesn't look markedly different from last year. Still excellent. And they're 2-0. See, that's what I'm saying. You want to say no to Tua, but find me the better quarterback.
Who's second at odds?
Still Mahomes, but that's just off of reputation.
How about Josh Allen?
I think that, Week 1 probably put the kibosh on some of his early MVP stuff because he turned the ball over 4 times.
Okay. How about Justin Herbert?
Herbert, I mean, I'm sorry. Can I know that this board behind me, if you're watching youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, is days since Maggie's had a Bills meltdown, and I'm so glad you specified Bills because I want to have a Trevor Lawrence part of me meltdown over how many shots at the end zone they had yesterday against the Kansas City Chiefs and could not score a touchdown just when I had Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Well, they must have had 5 million shots at the end zone.
How many near touchdowns did they have where the guy's feet were an inch over the line?
Oh, my goodness. I was dying. And also, terrible game to lose at home when you get the Chiefs were not even on fire. They were not... They're still not the full-blown Chiefs, unless somehow their defense is actually really good. I don't know.
Well,
is that possible?
Kelsey looked pretty bad. And then the key play to me was 4th and 5 right around midfield. And the Jags ran some terrible play. Yeah. And that's when the Chiefs started rolling and got the lead. Wait, I have my MVP.
Okay.
And let's do a show bet. I get Micah Parsons. You get Tua.
The field?
You get Tua.
No, I can't.
You have better odds.
No, but Tua's not going to be healthy all year. He's not going to play all 17 games. I mean, I hope he does. You don't want to see anyone get hurt.
But could that actually help his MVP odds if he misses 2 games, they lose both of those games, he comes back and then...
No. That happened to Hurts last year. It didn't help him.
No, he'll win Comeback Player of the Year over the rightful person, DeMar Hamlin.
Was Hamlin been active yet?
No. But he's alive, guys. That's it. He gets the award. He's walking around. He's walking and talking. That's the award right there. 855-2124-CBS. We're having a discussion a couple of minutes ago about the students who stormed the field in Colorado after Colorado beat Colorado State on Saturday night. And I didn't realize how many curmudgeons are on this show. Perloff, Samter, Stu, where are you on this?
I'm more with you. I think it's fine. They're college kids.
They're college kids, guys. Let them storm the field.
Are you going to storm every week then? Because Colorado State's going to be your least impressive win of the season.
No, but you can't storm. If you do beat my Oregon Ducks, you're not going to storm the opponent's field.
Well, you're certainly going to storm USC. That's a definite storm.
Of course. I think you can storm whenever you want to storm.
But you can't storm 6 times a year because then it loses all its specialness.
The whole point of storming is it's something special. Beating a team that you were favored by 24 points over isn't special.
Did you watch that game? That was crazy that they won.
5 o'clock in the morning. Of course I didn't watch it.
See, that's why you don't think they should have stormed. I felt like storming through my television, but I was also asleep at the end because it was 2:30 in the morning on the East Coast. That's impossible.
I like how Jay in Alabama said he was sitting in his car waiting for the game to end.
Yeah, he's going to the Circle K.
3 in the morning.
Honestly, shouldn't be eating that late. Sean is in Oregon. Sean has a question for us. Sean, what's up?
The question is, how old do you need to be to quit storming the field? I mean, that's not adult behavior. And I think
Sean,
like you've been there before. And if you storm the field, you got to be a huge underdog, like an unranked opponent beating a top 3 team.
Wait a minute, Sean. See, you guys are trying to apply logic to the situation. You think all of a sudden 60,000 people should be like, is it a ranked opponent? No, storming the field and storming
ranked
the court
opponent.
is all.
It's a minor conference team.
Sean, thank you. It's all about the feel in the moment is about the storm. You don't have to sit around logic like, well, I guess we were 20-point favorites, so we shouldn't storm the field. That's not playing into it at all. You're so jazzed up in the moment. It's like an instinctual thing. Come on.
Yeah, but if Ohio State beat Akron, I mean, they're not storming the field.
Okay, but this case, it was Colorado, double overtime. Lots of emotions, very high during the game. Had some scuffles. Travis Hunter gets knocked out of the game. Deion and the coach were going back and forth all week. There was a lot on this. And the fact that it was an incredibly dramatic game and a dramatic finish, you got to storm.
Well, the fact that there was so much of that on-field and off-field like drama, storming the field feels almost dangerous in this situation because who knows what could have happened.
Okay, Dad. Thanks.
They literally had police, they doxed that kid Blackburn's address.
Yeah,
so now people are they have police outside of his home because they're worried about threats he's getting. Who knows what some fan could have said or done storming the field with those Colorado State players.
I know, but here's the thing about the kid, Henry Blackwell, who put the hit on Travis Hunter. His phone number, his address, his mother's phone number all got put on the internet. So now he's getting death threats and all of this stuff. And I just can't help but think that's probably not a student. People are nuts sometimes for those small minority people who take it way too far and do that type of egregious stuff. Those people you're not bringing back anyway. I'm talking about a student body storming the field. It's like a rite of passage.
Colorado State has 6 wins in the last 6 years. They are one of the worst programs in the entire country.
No one's thinking about that in the moment.
Well, you should be.
No. What do you mean, guys? No, hold everybody back. Don't storm the field. This is not a fun moment. We're not in college. I celebrated a lot of things in college, like something called Thirsty Thursday, which I celebrated like it was Christmas.
Did you guys crash into the school's football stadium and start running on the field for Thirsty Thursday?
No, we didn't have football.
Not. No, you had control over yourself.
But we would have.
Well, let me ask you
this,
this,
do we have control over ourselves?
Now you have a real precedent, though. Do they storm every game this year?
They're going to have to now. They've set the precedent.
I think they have to.
No, because here's the thing. If you win by 2 touchdowns, you're not storming the field.
What? Yeah,
I guess unless it's USC, then you probably would.
They stormed last week, right?
Against Nebraska?
Yeah,
they
I think they stormed.
All right, so storm away. Storm the whole season.
Storm the whole season?
Listen,
That's
Deion's
so
probably
lame.
leaving next year anyway. You got to get it in now while you can.
Speaking about Deion, we've been ripping Jay Norvell for the whole week. And all the stuff with the sunglasses and the hats. Deion should be thanking Jay Norvell. Here's what I just read. Deion's sunglasses have now brought in $4.5 million with 70,000 pre-orders through their eyewear company, priced at $67 per sunglasses for the date, the year that he was born.
Wow.
Jay Norvell's comments were the best thing that's ever happened to Deion Sanders.
Is he getting a cut? Is Jay Norvell going to get a
talked
percentage?
about it before the game. He said, "Hey, why don't you just make fun of my sunglasses? Let's make this real." This was a coordinated. This is coordinated.
I'm kind of surprised that Deion's glasses only cost $70.
67.
I would have thought he was wearing $300 shades. Anyway.
Deion tried to make that. Deion clearly knew his whole team. By the way, I give him credit. He knew his whole team was looking past this game to Oregon, and you could kind of tell. So I think he needed something. I got to give him a lot of credit because I think it's easy to coach for Oregon to get your team up for every game when you know Colorado State's a 21-point dog. Yeah, he needed that because that was as narrow as they get. If they had lost, what would have been the repercussion? I don't know. People still would have been very excited for Oregon. I think it would have been a huge rating.
It's going to get a huge rating. I think it's 3:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And obviously we're looking through that lens, so it's going to be early on the West Coast. But I think that I think the Travis Hunter injury is really going to be a big deal. I don't know if it's going to. I don't know if they ever have a shot at Oregon anyway.
But the ratings, no, come on. The Travis Hunter injury.
On defense, I think it's going to hurt. I think it's going to hurt the product on the field. The ratings, no, everyone's going to tune into this one.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that the line moved so much because I don't know. Travis Hunter obviously is not a 7-point player. Was that Colorado State game so significant that it really just got it? I don't feel like Oregon's a 21-point favorite, right? Does that feel like what this game is going to play out like?
You think it's too high?
It seems way too high.
I mean, Oregon's the second highest scoring offense in the country. I mean, no, it's tilted because they beat a team 83-0.
Maybe Portland State 81-7.
They almost lost to Texas Tech. By 8.
They got super lucky against that Texas Tech game.
Yeah, but weird things happen in Lubbock.
Yeah, but I mean, Texas Tech is worse than TCU, who just got beat. It just seems like an odd.
You can't use the transitive properties here.
Is that like their slogan? what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
Weird things happen in Lubbock.
Yeah. Everyone knows that.
Oh, okay. Note to
Samper.
self.
Duh. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. You're welcome to weigh in on Colorado, what you thought of the game on Saturday night and storming the field. Sean said, is there an age limit on it? I mean, probably. I'll get with Sean on that. There's an age limit. I think you got to be like a student or a student-ish.
Yeah, but if you're surrounded by students that are all storming the field, you're just going to stop and like, no, I'm not going.
Well, you would, because you'd be like, let's calculate the Colorado State.
I would have been at the exit like 2 quarters in. Gotta beat the traffic.
the real middle-aged fans.
I'm turning to sad dad. I'm learning from Perloff. He's rubbing off on me.
You're wearing it well, Samter. Congrats. It's been, 9 months? Feels like you've been wearing it your whole life. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. We continue with Alabama's quarterback situation. Took another interesting turn today. So we've got the latest for you in just a moment. Don't move. It is Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds. All right, you can stream the NFL on Westwood One for free, sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help you find a fix for free. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. So I am already filing a complaint about our SEC fantasy quarterback draft.
You're filing a complaint?
Yes.
What?
Alabama is crap. Nick Saban has lost his fastball.
What?
Nick Saban, by the way, he should retire tomorrow. Tomorrow. He is washed.
They didn't beat South Florida enough for you? By enough?
Tommy Rees, you watch the plays that Alabama is calling when my quarterback, Tyler Buckner, to start. It's like, what did you expect to happen? Like, I even as Superman, Shedeur Sanders Brady could not have done anything with his offense. Alabama was outcoached by South Florida in a 17-3 win. Their coaching staff is washed. And then they go out and at halftime just blame the quarterback, blame the quarterback, blame the quarterback. Your plays are clearly not well designed. So I have an issue there. And obviously, Maggie, you had some hope that your Alabama quarterback was going to step in and save the day. Not so much.
No, Ty Simpson was one of my choices. We did our SEC quarterback draft, although that doesn't bother me because I also have Jaden Daniels, which means I'm in first place. So we'll get to all the standings in a moment, but you mentioned it. Tyler Buckner gives way to Ty Simpson. None of it looked good, and it led Nick Saban to make this announcement today.
Jalen really showed the leadership that I was looking for, during the game in terms of supporting his teammates and doing the things he needed to do. He's had the opportunity to play, so as the other guys. Jalen played the best of all those guys, and so I think he's earned the opportunity to be the quarterback.
Yeah, Samter's excited because he has Milroe in his quarterback fantasy team. But here's the thing. It's funny what Saban just said there. Like, he showed him a lot because he was encouraging his teammates and stuff on the sideline. I mean, I partly think that Saban, because nobody outright won the job until the last few days before the season started, I think this was the last opportunity before the SEC schedule kicks in next week when they play Ole Miss, where he could go to the other quarterbacks, make sure, just totally 100% in his mind, make sure that Milroe indeed was the best one, the best one, and he was confirmed. That suspicion was confirmed. Milroe is by far the best quarterback.
I don't know. I don't think it matters. You saw Notre Dame play last year. Was there anything in there that said Tommy Rees can play in the modern era of spread football? No. So, and honestly, I think Alabama's doomed, and I think I was high on the team.
Is this the end of the dynasty?
I think it's the end of the dynasty. I think Saban's lost.
Wow.
I mean,
This is the number one recruiting class in the country. That's something you would say to me.
One of them is their left tackle, who's a star freshman. I think he might be a redshirt, but anyway, he is terrible.
Well, the whole offensive line is not great.
Yeah, and there's nothing but 5-star recruits. Honestly.
But when I
this
question
game
whether
actually made me worry more than the Texas game. I'm like, they look so bad.
Well, when I questioned whether the dynasty was going to be over like a year and a half ago, I was like, wrong. No, Maggie, the recruiting class, Saban still got it. It's number one, and I was told not to worry.
Then he came out and just said that his starting quarterback is going to start because he did a good job cheering during the South Florida game. This is Nick Saban. He just credited his quarterback for doing a good job cheering. It is a little odd. This is not looking good, and the rest of the SEC obviously looks like it's catching up. You're right. When you said that they were like starting to go on the other side of the hill, down the slope, I argued with you. I said there's great recruiting. I thought Jalen Milroe was going to be great. Jalen Milroe has no chance there. The plays are terrible, just terrible.
Well, I don't know. I look at the skill set that he has. Maybe the play calling needs to change now. If it's going to be 100% Milroe, which they're saying, then just dive into what he does well, which is running the football, and he does have a good arm.
No, he doesn't do well, which you saw in the Texas game, is get the ball for his first pass attempt at 3rd and 9 every single drive. They would just run into Texas's line.
Yep.
I just think they do not look anything like the Alabama teams we know. I'm really worried. They could beat Mississippi.
He doesn't have to be worried, though.
But there's no way they're getting through there's no way they're getting through this SEC schedule. Why?
I'll tell you why they're going to be okay. Because next year the college football playoff is going to expand from 4 teams to 12, and they're going to stay relevant, and they're going to stay in. They're going to be one of those 12 teams. I know they fell out of the top 10 for the first time in forever, but they're going to stay one of those relevant teams. And
I don't even know. I mean, maybe, but if you get to the final 12 and lose in the second round, if you're Alabama, is that enough?
Well, I'm just saying, you're not totally falling off the cliff. Like before in college football, if you weren't one of the top 2 teams, you were toast. You're crap. Now there's a nice middle section.
No, that's a really good point, but I don't even know if they're top 12 the way they're playing now. Maybe I'm totally wrong.
Well, maybe they're just laying the foundation for when Deion Sanders takes over Alabama.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Alabama.
I kid, by the way.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Not,
he's in there. Yeah, he could be a great candidate.
Did you watch Deion on 60 Minutes last night? It was like we had all Deion all weekend, capped with Deion with our good pal John Wertheim on 60 Minutes.
No, because it got pushed into the game.
It did, yeah.
Because one of the CBS games was late. But
the Broncos game.
I didn't know. I couldn't believe 60 Minutes even did that because I'm like, oh my God. I've already seen 95 hours of Deion programming this week. Was there anything new?
It was good. Well, Wertheim does a great job, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that 'cause we're friends, but he does a great job. And he says, at one point, Wertheim asked Deion, do you think you're the best coach in college football? And he goes, who's the best coach in college football? And Deion looks down and he goes, anyone got a mirror? And he goes, what did you think I was going to say? He goes, but I do have this huge respect for Nick Saban, and went on and on about Saban. He's like, we film these commercials together, and I'm just hoping he'll drop like one coaching nugget that I can pick up.
Oh, my God. It's 3 games. Can we start playing some football games and then making these?
It's 3 games. You're declaring the Alabama dynasty dead.
You're declaring a Deion versus Saban for greatest coach in the history of college.
I didn't say that. Deion said
Deion's top 5. Saban's not top 40 right now.
Okay, so updating the SEC quarterback draft of the Maggie and Perloff show. As I said, Jaden Daniels was a stellar pick by yours truly. A 4-touchdown day, 2 passing, 2 rushing. So I'm in the lead. Second place, Stu Kovacs, ladies and gentlemen, making a nice rebound from the first 2 weeks of the season, Stu.
Despite Carson Beck still not playing well.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Oh, he looked good. He looked really good.
He looked good. Just no touchdowns.
Yeah.
I need some touchdowns from him.
Yeah.
Perloff is 3rd. Strong performance from Joe Milton. And then Sampter now is 4th.
Actually, Milton was awful.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart is going to town. So Will Rogers, by the way, can I get that pick back? That's another one that I was robbed on.
Here, I'll trade you Spencer Sanders for Will Rogers.
So Will Rogers.
Listen, you guys figure out your fantasy trades off the air, okay?
Will Rogers, I just found out he had played the air raid offense since 6th grade. 6th grade. 3 years in middle school, 4 years in high school. Sets every record there is under Mike Leach. Then they go away from the air raid this year, and he just got demolished. Anyway, sorry, Mississippi State quarterback. This is a fun one. Jaden Daniels, woo, LSU.
I know.
I mean, they looked like I know they lost to Florida State, but man, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, well, Florida State's really good,
Yeah.
and I know they barely squeaked by Boston College this weekend, but
Well, I was thinking maybe LSU gets back into that national title conversation the way Jaden Daniels is playing. That'd be a lot of fun.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Mark is in Miami, wants to talk about his number 1, Tua Tagovailoa. Mark, what's up, sir?
Hey, what's up, guys? Fins up. Victory Monday. Never gets old of beating down Belichick. Make that 5 wins in a row counting, having him, the great defensive mind, flustered. And, guys, before I get to Tua, the thing I like about
Over 2 different head coaches, Flores first and now McDaniel, yeah.
They own the pass, even pre-Tua. The thing I love about this team is obviously we have the best passing attack in the league with Cheetah and Waddle. But the thing that gets underrated is that McDaniels can scheme you up with the run game. the reason why I thank San Francisco for letting Mostert go is this guy is just like Cheetah and Waddle. Anytime he gets the ball, he hits the hole, he's gone. And that's the element that gets left out. You saw last night. They can pound you with the run game when they need to.
Yep.
Obviously, our passing attack is the best in the league, but when the Dolphins need to hit the run game, they can't do that. And Mostert is just perfect.
Hey,
you saw that last night.
Mark, why did they try to trade for – why were they in on Dalvin Cook and Jonathan Taylor if most depth?
Because McDaniels is a fan of his, and he would have been perfect, which he would have. I think it's a huge mistake, not that I'm saying now after the fact with Rodgers going down. You put Dalvin Cook in this offense with Mostert and the weapons with the outside with Cheetah and Waddle, they would have been Mahomes level wouldn't even touch this offense. I don't know why.
Mark, you don't need it. You just said
$1 million. Yeah,
with Mostert, you don't need it. And Dalvin Cook fumbled yesterday and lost the fumble.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying additional elements that his agent did him a bad job, and he's a Miami guy. As far as Tua goes, guys, I told you, and I'm definitely confident about this. If he plays 17 games, he's the best passer in the sport. I think 13-4 will lock it up. I think they got 2 tough games, obviously beside your Bills.
Yep.
The only game I really fear is the Eagles in Philly and Baltimore in Baltimore. Other than that, they get the Cowboys here on Christmas Eve, and I think if Tua, barring knock on wood, he plays 17 games, guys, the numbers don't lie. He's second to Mahomes, and his passer rating is ahead of Mahomes. His winning percentage is behind Mahomes. So he's in the top 1 or 2 in every statistical passing category.
No, Mark, he's incredible. No one ever. I mean, listen. At the beginning, there was the whole Tua and fighting for his job. That's all gone now. The one thing about Tua, Mark, you're the best. Thank you. The one thing about Tua is, what do you do, even if he does stay healthy? You're giving him $200 million. Say he wins the MVP. This could be an all-time heater year for him, where then he's going to be paid more than Joe Burrow now? Probably.
Yeah, certainly in that range. I mean, he gets compared a lot to Justin Herbert. Obviously, they're picked next to each other.
Yep.
So if he could get through this season healthy, I think you're pretty comfortable giving him that money.
You think that would prove it?
Yeah, I think he'd get 200 easily because I think whatever changes he did to protect his health, he can show they worked by going 17 games. Now Mark's got me nervous because I've lost many Miami bets to him. So if he thinks Tua's going to win the MVP, there might be something to that.
Jalen Waddle in concussion protocol after taking a big hit last night. Brandon is in Oregon, wants to talk about Nick Saban. Perloff has declared the dynasty is dead. Brandon, what's up?
Yeah, Perloff, hold on. I just got to confirm here. Was the quote that Nick Saban is no longer a top 40 coach in college football?
I'm just mad at him because he's screwing over my guy Jalen Milroe. I said that and I was just in the moment, but I do not think he is one of the top 5 coaches in college football right now.
We haven't even gotten to the SEC schedule yet. How can you say that?
Because you can see the wheels are coming off. They just lost. They got out physicaled by a Texas Big 12 team. When does that ever happen to a Nick Saban football team?
How quick we are to move on as a society nowadays. I mean, that's literally like saying 10 years after the Thriller album dropped, it's like saying, Michael Jackson, he ain't a top 40 artist in the world no more. No way.
What album did he have after?
I'll let you guys go. I just had to give you a hard time, Perloff. But I got Oregon 45, Colorado zip this
All right. Wait, Brandon, I'll give you Dan Lanning or Nick Saban. Who do you want?
I mean, I got to say Lanning because I'm a homer, but I think Saban's still the best to do it.
I think, Brandon, thank you so much. I think you got to get into the SEC schedule. And I do think there was a little bit with University of South Florida where they wanted to try the other 2 quarterbacks just to confirm, just to totally 100% confirm that Milroe is the guy. And they did that.
Also, too, the weather was a huge issue. And then, I don't know,
delay.
The first half, they couldn't bring the cameraman back, so you could only see it from the All-22 game. It was terrible. By the way, Dan Lanning has some Alabama experience, is considered to be in the mix, to be maybe I think he was a quality control coach there. Maybe he could be a successor if he does well at Oregon.
Is it a better job?
Yeah.
You're about to go to the Big Ten. If you're Oregon. So you're going to, if this is going where we all think it's going, which is basically 2 super conferences.
Yeah. I think Alabama is a better job.
No, I get it, but Oregon's a good job.
No,
you recruit L.A.
Yeah. I would
recruit
never.
LA if you're Alabama, too.
That's a really good point. I mean, there is a lot of advantages to Oregon, but I do think Alabama, because of the history, would be the
But then you got to follow up Nick Saban.
Yeah.
You got to be the guy after the guy.
Well, let me ask you about Deion, by the way.
Yeah. Deion, though, being the guy after the guy, like Deion's got a whole other persona.
Deion's about to go into the Big 12 with Colorado. He could dominate that conference for 10 years. Like, would he really want to go to the SEC with Alabama inheriting Saban's program? Maybe he would want to stay at Colorado to have that natural advantage.
Yeah.
And he seems to be making it work pretty good.
Yeah. Are we sure he would dominate? Yeah. I mean, I think the irony of this whole thing is that not just Colorado, what they're doing in the Pac-12 this year, but also all these great Pac-12 quarterbacks that we know. Obviously, Caleb Williams is the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, and Michael Penix has been awesome, and Bo Nix has been awesome. And these guys, and the conference is just poof, going away.
No, he'll dominate. The Big 12 is losing Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, Deion will own this if he wants to for a long time.
Yeah, but you're going to have Utah, BYU. I'm just trying to think. I gotta remember who's in the conference.
Houston, TCU, Kansas State.
Who said Deion to Houston? Someone in the media said that, and I thought, listen, we love our guy Dana Holgerson. We're not trying to take him out of a job. He's our dude, but that would be interesting.
Well, that's not happening. Colorado to Houston. Why would you do that?
Just because Houston and you and I feel like we kind of saw this a little bit firsthand. They're kind of like could be a sleeping giant in terms of money that they have and the boosters have.
Totally. But Deion, then he gets into the whole Texas mix where you're recruiting against 5 other super programs at all times. I don't know. I feel like Colorado seems to be working for him, like the Rock flew out there.
I know. It does it like you had all these, stars like doing interviews in the middle of the game.
By the way, and all the beauty shots of Boulder look amazing. Can we do a show in Boulder? How do we get out there?
Also, you got high altitude, natural home field advantage, a real home field advantage.
Unless you're Russell Wilson.
Yeah, we'll get to Russ. We do have to get to Russ. We've been putting it off.
How did he just get shrapnel out of nowhere?
Well, because he just lost 2 games at home in the high altitude, which is pretty amazing.
We hadn't mentioned his name all show long. Out of nowhere, just throw him under the bus.
Well, I mean, we got a lot to unpack with Russ, with Peyton, with everything going on. And by the way, Denver going to Miami in week 3. Ugh. That's the last place I'd want to play right now. 855-212-4CBS. We will talk about Russell Wilson in just a moment right after this CBS Sports Update. Here is Rich Hackman.
CBS Sports Radio. Sports Flash.
And this report is brought to you by Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community and have your first deposit matched up to $100 when you use code PRIMETIME. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. Michigan State firing head coach Mel Tucker following allegations of sexual misconduct. He is currently in the 3rd year of a 10-year, $95 million deal. He has 7 days to respond, and if fired for cause, which the school intends, they wouldn't owe him anything left on that deal. Patrick Mahomes' contract is somewhat outdated, so the Chiefs have restructured that deal, giving the Super Bowl MVP $210 million in guaranteed money over the next several years, matching Joe Burrow. They can revisit the deal in 2026. As for Burrow, Bengals head coach Zach Taylor said he's not sure if his quarterback will be able to play next week because of his calf injury. Jalen Waddle is in concussion protocol. The Cardinals play safety Budda Baker on injured reserve. Monday Night Football tonight, the Panthers and Saints kick off the doubleheader, followed by the Browns and Steelers in Pittsburgh. Right now, baseball, Guardians trail the Royals 6-4 in the top of the 9th. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Coming up later on the Zach Gelb Show, we recap another weekend of college football and week 2 of the NFL. 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff on this Monday. Want to play a little game here called What Do You Do With This Guy? Give you a couple NFL quarterbacks. I don't know, what do you do with this guy? The first is Russell Wilson. Now, Denver 0-2, headed to Miami next week. The marriage between Russell Wilson and Sean Payton off to a bit of a rocky start, including after the game yesterday where Sean Payton talked about starting 0-2 for the Broncos. Let's hear it.
We let him back in. And this game, this league, it's, the leads can evaporate quickly, and this one did. I can't change that we're 0-2, but I can certainly change how we approach the next game and prepare to play the third game.
Also said that Russ has to be sharper with getting the playoff. If we need to go to the wristband, we'll go to the wristband. Now, I thought they did. I thought he was wearing the wristband. Yeah. But that's always been a point of contention with Russ, and going back to Pete Carroll, then last year with Nathaniel Hackett, now apparently this year with Sean Payton. Perloff, I thought it was wild that they were having such trouble getting plays in at times during that loss. They were up 21-3 against the Washington Commanders. Let the Commanders come all the way back. Commanders now 2-0. Let them come all the way back into this game. And then let's take a listen, actually. Can we hear the Hail Mary from Russ at the end of the game? Because this one was pretty spectacular.
Russell in the pocket, sets and throws the ball up in the air. It's going to be short. The ball deflected. The ball deflected and caught! Touchdown, Denver, Brandon Johnson! Oh, my word! 50 yards! Good googa mooga!
So you go from the... Hi, that's the Broncos radio network, if you couldn't have guessed.
Good googa mooga!
Then all they need, the 2-point conversion. Perloff, in your life, usually when the Hail Mary is successful, it's just like a matter of business to convert the 2-point conversion. This is what it sounded like.
Play action. Steps up, throws towards the end zone, towards Cortland Sutton. Incomplete. Broken up by Benjamin St. Juste. No flags. Game over. Washington wins 35-33.
And that was Commanders Radio Network.
Yeah, I mean, they should have thrown a flag on that one. I mean, whatever. But
probably should have closed the deal if you're up 21-3.
Has there ever been a Hail Mary 2-point conversion?
I don't know, but it's like the momentum, you know?
But, okay, I will defend Russ for 1 second here. Obviously, the narrative is quite clear. All the scripted plays that Sean Payton's running are ridiculous. I mean, they're
like what?
No, I'm saying Russell Wilson's starting out the first 15. He's like coming in. He's like
looks great. Yeah.
He's 14 for 15.
Yep.
And like 3 touchdowns and no picks. Then the second half, it's totally falling apart.
Yep.
Russ can't move like he used to.
No, and he was getting chased down by the Commanders' defensive line yesterday.
But it's still like he's throwing the ball pretty darn well. Like those long passes that Russell threw, we hadn't seen that at all. So I'm a little encouraged. In fact, none of that was there last year. This is a night and day Russ from last year. He's fourth in the league in passer rating of 107, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. Last year, he had 16 touchdowns, 11 picks in an entire season. So he clearly there's something there. The problem is this defense is just terrible now.
Which is crazy because last year the defense was good.
Yeah, well, in part the defense was good because the opposing offense is like, ooh, Russ is just going to hand us the game. We don't need to do anything. I don't know what happened in this game. There was 2 really funny turnovers, a little bit of bad luck. Russ, I don't know what he was doing on that fumble. But the defense is a problem because they're going to face the Chiefs, the Chargers. They already lost to the Raiders. So I think Russell actually, does it mean anything? I think Russell will end the season with pretty good numbers.
I don't know if that's going to be enough here because I think what Sean Payton is doing here, saying Russ has to be sharper, he's not, Sean Payton is never never afraid to criticize people in the media. And I just don't know if this thing is gonna work because they're gonna have to start winning games. I mean, you're as an organization, if you're the Broncos, you didn't trade a first-round pick and a second-round pick to have Sean Payton come in and start the season 0-2 and could go to 0-3 if they don't really pull out something special in Miami next week. I mean, that's not what you signed up for, and it was the whole save Russell Wilson. I'll give you credit. He does look better than last year.
Yeah, well, that's sort of what I'm judging.
But we're setting the bar extremely low then for someone who's going to be a Hall of Famer.
I mean, he threw that some of those long passes were
okay, so he had
a beauty.
I'm not going to give him. I'll give him credit on the Hail Mary, but the Hail Mary was short, and then it got batted 5 yards behind. But he did have some explosive plays yesterday. We had no explosive plays in week 1. And so now week 2.
But he was also pretty good in week 1. He was not bad at all.
Week 1 wasn't bad, but week 1 they also didn't seem to have trouble getting the play calls in. And then all of a sudden now that rears its head in week 2.
Well, why? That's a coaching staff thing, though.
I think it's coaching staff, too. I'm not taking Sean Payton off the hook here. I just think Sean Payton probably does have more power in the organization than Russ right now, despite the fact that Russ has this huge contract.
Well, it's not even a matter of power here. The whole thing, like, there can't, when you're 0-2, there can't be a power coming off a terrible season where you fired your coach. There's no power struggle. So if they lose at Miami, they're 0-3. But then all they have to do is survive that because they get Chicago and the Jets coming up after that.
Yeah.
Now they get the Chiefs. I know that sounds really bad. Russell had his 2 best games against the Chiefs last year. I'm telling you, it's going to be a weird season. I think Russell's going to end up with good stats, which happened.
Jets beat them in Denver last year, but a lot of teams did.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Last year was a mess, but that was not this Jets team. I think Jets team are a little bit deflated. I think Russell could end up having a decent year, and you're right. Is that enough? Say they're 7-10, and he ends up with 30 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, which happens with Sean Payton. Guys get great numbers under him.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, I think the question is, can we give Sean Payton a little truth serum to ask him, does he really want to be coaching Russell Wilson?
Oh, definitely not.
Okay, well, then Russell Wilson will be on a different team then.
I don't know how you do it money-wise.
You go off the fact that Russ could end the season with really good numbers, and then you find a team that might be desperate to trade for a veteran.
Okay.
And you eat a lot of the money. I mean...
Yeah, no, I'm actually not even the money. The salary cap is huge. So I feel like...
But think about it. Yeah. In theory, you'd probably be bringing in a rookie quarterback at that point. So
say you pick 10th, 11th, 12th.
Right. So you save money on the rookie quarterback, and you have to pay and eat a large chunk of Russell's contract, and someone else gets a Russell reclamation project.
Yeah. Well, it's a cap hit. It's going to be gigantic. So you can't really. I don't know if you can build the right team. It feels like a tough assignment here for Sean.
Yeah, and also I think that he's made some mistakes too. I mean, I don't know. It just, again, Russ looks better, but what is that really saying?
I mean, I'm not even quite sure why we're having this discussion. Sam Howell just lit them up.
I know.
Lit them up.
That can't be. I mean, credit
Sam Howell
to...
was 27 for 39, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And honestly, he could have done more. He had no problems against them. What happened to that defense?
They made some really good changes. The Commanders did some really nice adjustments at halftime, most notably handing the ball off to Brian Robinson, who was able to run all over Denver's defense.
Yeah, it's a tough game. I don't know if Denver is going to get anything out of this. I don't know if Sean Payton's even going to work here. I don't. It's going to be really hard for him to do what he did with the Saints. It might take some time. But does Sean Payton at this point of his career, is it going to take, say, like, give me 4 years to make it work out in Denver? No, there's so much pressure for him to be good immediately.
Listen, they traded a first round and a second round pick for him.
And they're paying him what?
A lot, $18 million or something a year. Who regrets what? If anyone regrets anything in Denver, is it the Russell Wilson trade and contract, or do you?
God. Are you kidding me?
Two games in, you can't really be regretting Sean Payton.
Well, this was Aaron Rodgers destroying 2 franchises. Denver set up everything for Aaron Rodgers. They brought in Nathaniel Hackett, set up a West Coast offense.
Yeah.
And then Aaron says, I'm going back to Green Bay. So they bring in the wrong quarterback. Then Aaron is destroying the Jets, too.
Well, not on purpose.
Well, he didn't destroy Denver. I'm just saying Nathaniel Hackett seems to be a consistent problem here.
Meanwhile,
but yeah, it's a bad fit all around. I agree with you.
Speaking quickly about Aaron Rodgers, according to Peter King, Football Morning in America, it is possible that he is going to be doing something called blood flow resistance rehabilitation. Now, this is Peter sort of talking to doctors and speculating. This is basically a method where you apply a tourniquet to the injured area that partially restricts the flow of blood during strength training. And then that triggers the brain to send a rush of hormones and other strengthening modes to the affected area, promoting Perloff accelerated metabolism and healing. They use this with wounded soldiers at the Brooke Army Medical Center near San Antonio.
What has to actually happen to Aaron Rodgers for him to not try and get the top headlines? Like, where does he have to? Where does he have to go? Like,
this isn't his
fault. The dude just tore his Achilles in week 1. We're not seeing him this season. Would he stop getting all this stuff out there? Whatever this is you're talking about.
Well, he said, to quote Kevin Garnett, anything is possible.
Oh man, I'm not buying in ever again, ever.
Just wait 5 minutes. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, the 0-2 team who is poised for a very big comeback. We'll tell you who. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
whole industry and everybody who says that they're good at tasting wine is lying. I think it's the biggest mass lie.
It's all perpetrated by big wine?
In the history of mankind, there's no bigger lie than people can tell which wine is good.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I love people who are like, I'm just tasting and spitting out. I'm like, I'm not here to get loaded. Get out of here.
Wineries are the scenes of so many crimes. People get sloppy at wineries. Like dress over your head type stuff. Once my husband and I, we were still dating, went to wine country, but took bikes.
I just had this image of you following your husband on a bike, just veering off slowly into the right, tipping over, and just like, Maggie's asleep on the sidewalk.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Could Micah Parsons be the first NFL MVP on the defensive side since Lawrence Taylor? Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, reacting to a massive weekend, college football and the NFL. And I think the Dallas Cowboys look amazing. I mean, that's not even a take. They have outscored their opponents 70-10. The defense, I think, has even ticked up a notch. And while I say Parsons, Perloff, could end up being in the MVP discussion, he's obviously the runaway favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. Don't sleep on Dak Prescott. First of all, this is a quarterback award generally. You have to do something so outrageous to pry this away from one of the quarterbacks. And I know it's earlier in the season, but the Cowboys have a pretty favorable schedule.
Yeah.
If they pass some of these big tests, like if they win at New England big, if they do beat the San Francisco 49ers, there's going to be some galvanizing behind this.
Yeah.
Oh, the Cowboys are this great team, and who's the quarterback of that great team? It's Dak Prescott. I think that his MVP odds right now, he's 5th in MVP odds, and that's going to heat up.
Yeah, I think last year, though, they beat all the bad teams, and they lost to Philly. That early in the season in Philly, then in the playoffs, they lost to San Francisco. So we know they can beat bad teams. I feel like they're destined for 12-5 again. So the thing is, if they're 12-5 for the third straight season, will that be enough narrative-wise? I mean, maybe they'll be 13-4, but I think that the storyline is going to be, okay, Cowboys, another good regular season. Now McCarthy and Dak have to prove it in the postseason.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be some reluctance there.
Well, but the MVP is a regular season award. So.
Yeah, but 2 years ago when Dak had 37 touchdowns and 10 picks, they were 12-5, had the number 2 seed, rather.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't get much MVP noise.
But that's also because Mahomes was having a great year, right?
Yeah.
2 years ago.
But I don't think he was second or third or fourth either. But I got to double check that.
So here's, I think, what also could be working in the favor for the Dallas Cowboys and specifically for Dak. The other quarterbacks are not really killing it out of the gate here. You know, you have Joe Burrow and the Bengals are now 0-2. He tweaked his calf. I know that was a very popular MVP pick. Right now, Patrick Mahomes, I mean, they get out of Jacksonville, but with a win yesterday, but I don't think anyone was like super inspired by their offense. In fact, I think the Kansas City defense has kind of outshined the offense so far this year, and Mahomes' weapons outside of Kelsey, who was only okay yesterday, have not been great. I mean, who else is like gangbusters here? Josh Allen already has, turnovers that have plagued him from week one. Nice bounce back yesterday, of course. It's like no one's gone out.
Lamar Jackson
Tua's been great, and Lamar's been great.
I mean, has Lamar been great, though?
I think Lamar's been really good.
He's averaging like 180 yards passing a game.
But still doing those like Lamar things. By the way, Odell Beckham Jr. gets hurt yesterday, and they have 5 starters who are out with injuries.
That was a weird game. That was a very weird game. Zay Flowers is a game changer. But just for some little perspective on this, Dak is ranked after 2 weeks 20th in the league in passing yards, 199.0, and Lamar's 19th at 203.
Okay, but it's not always the guy with the best numbers who wins this award. Case in point, Aaron Rodgers.
But what happened? Aaron Rodgers?
No, what was it? The third MVP, I think Brady actually had the better numbers.
Yeah,
it was the fourth MVP. I can't
But Aaron
remember.
Rodgers' numbers were bananas.
I mean,
these guys are not in the top 20, in the top 18 in passing yards. Here's the thing about Lamar Jackson. What happened to that passing offense?
Yeah, I don't know.
It looks exactly like last year.
Yeah, just with Zay Flowers now.
Yeah, it's except that they had a really ugly game. Week 1, Houston. That didn't really mean anything. All we're saying is, by the way, your guy Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, yeah.
That was a bad game, but he could bounce back and the Chiefs look pretty good on defense. I don't know what happened in that game. There's a lot of guys. Josh Allen, I think, could come back. I think it's way too early to really hone in on this MVP debate. I can't believe I'm even saying that after 2 weeks.
Well,
I think that would be a given.
I think that, the shocking thing is that Micah Parsons would be in this debate.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's so hard for a defensive player, but that's how good he's been.
Also, the other thing, too, even Micah Parsons, a guarantee, there's been some real defensive Chris Jones in one game.
I know.
Oh, my God, he looked amazing. I saw he won 39% of his pass rush attempts. That's almost an NFL record. So
Although the Jaguars are playing without their starting left tackle.
Yeah, TJ Watt, the guy we'll see tonight, already had 3 sacks in week 1. There's going to be a lot of guys. I think it's even early to declare Micah Parsons the given defensive player of the year. I don't know. Nick Bosa will have another good year. It's just with all the passing, there's going to be a lot of stat numbers. I just think that Micah Parsons, we saw it against the Giants in the rain and the Jets.
Yeah.
And you're going to see it next week against the Cardinals and Josh Dobbs. Just do it against a good team just once, and then I'm all in.
See, I think that for as impressive as it is when you beat good teams, which is always the most impressive thing you can do, I think that easily taking care of bad to mediocre teams, also, it's not as impressive as beating a good team, but we saw like week 1 when the Bills totally bleeped the bed against the Jets after Aaron Rodgers went down. Like, they lost to a team they probably should have beaten that night. Like, I think it's okay when you just take care of business and do it in dominating fashion.
Yeah.
I think that should count for something too. I don't totally discount those wins.
Last year, I saw a stat. The Bills were one of the best teams in the league when they were favored by over 6 points, covered almost every game.
Yeah.
Meant nothing. They had a lot of other circumstances. DeMar Hamlin going down and all that stuff. But I don't know. I don't think it should count. Just so you beat bad teams. Honestly,
it's what your Eagles did.
But the Cowboys keep doing this. They keep doing this. They keep winning a lot of games and not showing up in the playoffs. So I don't even want to hear it. I want to see them not, the bed in the divisional round. And we're
going to have a while before we can figure that out.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Say they go 13-4.
Yeah.
Lose their first playoff game. What does that mean for Mike McCarthy? He's probably.
I think he's safe. I think he's safe no matter what.
But won't that sort of build this reputation that he's not a big game winner here?
Well, I mean, he's already won a Super Bowl as a head coach, so I don't know if we can still say he's not a big winner. It's not like all these other Cowboys coaches over the last 20 years have been killing it. It's not, like you got to go back to Barry Switzer and Jimmy before they had this really big success. So, I don't think McCarthy's getting fired at all. In fact, here was Jerry Jones. Let's hear Stu on Mike McCarthy after 2 games.
I can't say enough about how Mike has prepared this team the last 2 weeks. And so give him a really extraordinary amount of credit here, Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, no, we thought you meant Michael Jackson. Of course, Mike McCarthy. Yes, thank you, Jer. They want Mike McCarthy to work out. I think he wants to show that he was right in choosing McCarthy as the head coach.
Yeah, but last year, remember when they killed Tom Brady in the opening round?
Yep.
And then they lost to a really, really good San Francisco team. And everybody in the world was killing the Cowboys and saying, Jerry is going to run out of patience with McCarthy. Dak's no good. I feel like just 2 wins over New York teams is not enough to really put that all so far behind us that we don't even remember that they've been losing in the playoffs when they shouldn't.
I think the fact that Dak doesn't have a turnover yet say what you want about the Giants. That was a bizarre game from them yesterday to get into that big of a hole, 20-point hole, and then to dig themselves out of it against the Cardinals. Like, your head is spinning by the end of that. Like, what did they really show us? Like, I guess
texted the group. I was ready at halftime for the Giants to full-on tank for Caleb Williams. And I'm not convinced
they just paid their quarterback $90 million.
For 2 years, right? So you have 1 year of Daniel Jones with Caleb there. I'm still not convinced that that's not the best route. I don't know where they're going with this team.
Well, they come back and win. And listen, the Jets are rattled now because Aaron Rodgers is no longer on the team, but the defense is still good. And Dak and the Cowboys hung 30 on them. So, listen, I think that it's not too early that you can be super encouraged by this team. Obviously, I picked them to win the Super Bowl before the season. So, 855-212-4CBS. We've got some injury updates for you, including, speaking of the Giants, so the huge comeback yesterday partially was spurned by this big Saquon Barkley touchdown where he is just like in midair, Matrix style, leaning for the pylon. Amazing. He got hurt later in the game, sprained ankle, according to Adam Schefter. He's going to be out for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be ugly on Thursday night, San Francisco. It's a 10.5-point spread now. I think it goes up to 13 because they're going to kill Daniel Jones. This is a fully healthy San Francisco team. Nobody's hurt yet, really. Well, maybe some guys are, but I think this could be really bad without Saquon. Even with Saquon, I still think it's a total blowout.
I think so too. San Francisco looks awesome, but I think the one thing you're hoping if you're the Giants is like it's a short week. No one plays awesome on a short week.
Yeah, but the home team should get an advantage there, shouldn't they?
Yeah, no, but the Giants are already on the West Coast playing in Arizona, so they'll just stay on the West Coast. They're not going to fly back to New York and then back.
Still.
I don't know. I'm just trying to tell you that it's, at least not crazy air travel. But I hate to say this, but all the running backs who, we were wondering, weren't getting offered big contracts and stuff that, all had pretty bad days yesterday. I mean, Saquon has a good day, but ends up getting hurt. So it's like, imagine if you had given him $50 million guaranteed. You had Josh Jacobs yesterday. I'm sorry, Stu. Finishes with what was a -2 rushing yards, and Austin Eckler didn't play. So, and meanwhile, the young running backs like Bijan Robinson was unreal.
Nick Chubb goes tonight. We'll see how he does.
Yeah.
Then there's that kid on the Rams, Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
He looks like a superstar. And I guess he went to Notre Dame, but you can find guys like that and Puka Nacua at wide receiver, but still.
Puka Nacua, is it Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua?
Kyron Williams was a 5th-round pick in 2022 out of Notre Dame, and he looks like a star. So which makes it even harder to pay these guys moving forward. Dalvin Cook, on the other hand, with the Jets, all of a sudden looks like he forgot how to play the position. I don't know what to do, how we're going to get these running backs paid, Maggie.
Well, Samter was just informing me that the NFL has filed a grievance against the NFL Players Association because of that Zoom call that all of the running backs were on this summer, where they were trying to figure out some solutions about how do you get guys second contracts with these running backs. So apparently it was suggested or floated by the NFLPA, according to the NFL, that guys should feign injuries and things like that. So now you're going to have the NFL and the NFLPA again.
And the NFL's grievance is seeking an order for the union to cease and desist from improper conduct. They're basically telling players,
don't Zoom.
Please, no, I don't know if it's about the Zoom. It's please don't fake injuries.
Yeah.
Well, let me file a grievance so you don't fake injuries.
Imagine if you had a no faking injuries policy in the NBA. No one would everyone would be sued a million different ways. Anyway.
I was watching a college game on Saturday where there must have been maybe 5 obvious fake injuries to slow down the tempo. Yeah. So I think that's where they're getting it. But it seems like the number one problem with leagues is guys faking injuries. I mean, but the NFL, I don't. Why would they bring this up? Why would they file a grievance against the NFLPA on this? Because I feel like we're all on the running back side, aren't we? They're underpaid. I feel bad for these guys.
Yeah, but then you see what happens yesterday, and I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to continue to have games like that. Right. But you're looking at the young guys who are doing really well, and then the older guys didn't have a great week. You know how it goes.
I understand the logic. If I was a GM, I wouldn't pay them too. But I feel they take all this punishment. It's one of the heaviest punishment positions. Then the NFL just uses them up and spits them out. It doesn't really seem the salary cap structure around them doesn't feel fair at all.
No, it's not at all. And now you have more running quarterbacks though too.
Yeah.
So
my guy Anthony Richardson.
I know, going to be out with a concussion. Stu, what would you like for lunch and when would you like it?
That's a good question. 2 good questions.
So Stu and I had a bet. Stu's Raiders against my Buffalo Bills. You guys know I was extremely down on the Bills last week.
And I was extremely down on the Raiders, as I always am.
Even though they won in week 1.
Yes, this is true.
And I said that if the Bills covered the spread, which was 9 or 9.5, whatever it closed at, that I would buy lunch for Stu. And if the Raiders kept it close, he would have to buy lunch for me. It was not close.
It was not.
It was
good for 6 minutes. It was close for 6 minutes, and then it all went downhill.
Yep. You guys came down, scored a touchdown. Bills went 3 and out, and I was like, oh, shoot. But then things turned around.
Then the Raiders became the Raiders.
Yeah, Jimmy G throwing some picks. But let me know, what would you like and when would you like it? And the rest of the show wants to chime in. I know Perloff wanted to.
I've never seen Stu eat. I have no idea. What do you eat? What kind of foods do you like?
I'll eat anything. That's probably the question here.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm good with pizza again. I know we did that last week for Mike, but pizza's fine with me.
It's just now a tradition of me losing show bets.
Maggie buys the pizza
and
for
buying lunch for everybody.
What was the pizza bet with Mike?
Just straight up Jets Bills. And now, but now Samter's not even a Jets fan anymore. So I feel like that pizza was a waste.
It's great. I became a Chiefs fan. I'm going to get Super Bowls under my belt, and I got a free pizza.
Wow. Look at you gaming the system.
Why did you... can I make a bet with you on the Bills next week?
No.
They're going to Washington.
I don't want to do that.
Does anyone know what's going to happen in that game? Bills at Washington?
No clue.
Yeah, that's a dangerous one to bet on.
No clue. What I'm hoping is that it's not as bad as Monday night, and it's probably not going to be as good as yesterday. So I'll take somewhere in the middle.
I want a free lunch.
You're going to have to ask Stu for a slice.
What is a spread on a Bills Commander? 6?
6.5.
That's a tough one. Your Bills are confounding.
They are up and down. Not as bad as the Raiders.
No.
With Chandler Jones now taken to Twitter and Instagram.
No, he claimed that he was hacked.
Yeah. He's like top 5 person I don't believe when they say they're hacked. He's kind of reached Antonio Brown status.
Who's
not accused of nearly the same things as Antonio Brown, let me be clear. But
who are the other 4 that you don't believe? How about Perloff? If Perloff says he was hacked, would you believe it?
No.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff I tweet, no one's going to bother to hack and do that.
It's like more Tom Brady's a system quarterback tweets. That would be if they say like if you were ever like kidnapped and I needed and like the kidnappers are like, you had to tweet something to tell us all that you've been kidnapped, like to raise a red flag.
Oh, the Tom Brady's, yeah.
You're like, Tom Brady is not a system quarterback. He's the best.
That's kind of,
The Cowboys are awesome, and I love them.
Justin Jefferson is not a product of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Like, somebody check on this guy.
No. My new Twitter thing, by the way, and it's working out great. There's 2 things. One, if you praise Deion, everyone loves your tweet. But second, just
doing it for the clicks.
No. I've decided the hating officials is the number 1 way to get love on social media, and there's so many opportunities. But the officials are so good now with that instant replay thing.
Yeah,
where New York is calling in and helping them.
It's wild.
Turning my Twitter feed a little bit. It's pretty good, though.
Let's hear a ref yesterday. I forgot which one during the Seahawks-Lions game, which that one ended up being a doozy. I feel like the Lions have to wake up today and be like, how did we lose that game? It was like 5 minutes of game time that just completely shifted that thing. And Seahawks win in overtime. Here was a ref as Geno Smith came over to argue a call.
Intentional grounding, offense number 7. It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here, excuse me. It's a 10-yard penalty and a loss of down. I mean, second down.
That is the best line I've ever heard out of an official. We'll get to the penalty in a minute. He just told Geno Smith, I'm talking to America.
It's true, although Geno really had a case there.
That was the worst intentional grounding call of all time.
It was terrible. I mean, it's so punitive, too.
He wasn't even facing any pressure. He just kind of threw the ball because there was a bad miscommunication with him and the receiver.
Yeah, that happened to Stafford, too, where Stafford thought a guy was going long. It's tough to call that.
Stafford was ticked off at his teammates yesterday. He was appeared on TV that he was screaming at Tutu Atwell for not running the right route.
Because he was trying to sell it to the official that wasn't grounding.
Ah, interesting.
He was trying to say my receiver was supposed to be going there. That was totally fake. Stafford's been in L.A. for a while, Maggie. I think he was acting.
There is an actor's strike right now. He shouldn't cross the picket line.
He claimed it was a blown route. His pass was 45 yards away from Tutu Atwell.
Yeah. And it was funny because it was a Mark Sanchez on the game with Kevin Kugler. They do a great job, but it was like they're like with the telestrator, and he's like, see, he wanted Tutu here. I'm like, the ball's in the second row.
Yeah, it was 45 yards away. He was trying to sell that to the official.
Okay.
I don't think he was really mad. That's my theory.
Meanwhile, and I know other people have said this, but I was personally invested in this particular moment yesterday, if you catch my drift. Sean McVay kicking a meaningless field goal to just kill San Francisco minus 7.5. Like, what? No one's going to ask him after the game, but like that's the only thing I want to know. Why? And honestly, if you're really trying to win the game and you're down 10, okay, kick the field goal 2 plays earlier. You got a great kicker. Kick the field goal 2 plays earlier to actually leave time on the clock for the onside kick that if you recovered it, you'd be able to take a shot, Hail Mary, lateral, whatever at the end zone. So it never made any sense on all levels. I'm ranting now.
That was a bad beat. That was a really, really bad beat.
Between that and Trevor Lawrence yesterday, just missing every throw in the end zone, I was dying. Did you win any of your bets yesterday?
Oh, no. Not a single one. All of them were the same way. Because I was waiting. I had them all. I was like, I might go 3-0 this week. Because Justin Herbert, way under 282. All they had to do was stop Tennessee once. Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Stop them once and then kneel on it. But no, all of a sudden Ryan Tannehill becomes Aaron Rodgers or something. Chargers. I mean, are we doing today which coach is going to get fired first? Because I've never seen a coach that is hurting himself more than Brandon Staley.
We'll get to that next because
also,
I think maybe a 2-for-1 deal on fired coaches for tomorrow.
But as long as we're venting, the Bears-Bucks, I have the Bears-Bucks under.
Yeah.
And then Justin Fields throws a little interception at the goal line. And then the last one, this one was interesting. Jags-Chiefs. So the Chiefs were 3.5-point favorites. Now, I know the Jags didn't come close. Did that feel to you like the Chiefs dominated that game? I couldn't figure out what was going on there. I watched a lot of that game.
No, I was very impressed with the Chiefs defense / not impressed with the Jags on offense.
If they play in the playoffs, is that a contest? Because the teams felt pretty close to me.
Yeah, I don't think the game would look anything like it. I think if we go to the playoffs, I think it's going to be like a 42-41 game or something. Anyway, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. That was a little of how our weekend went. How about yours? Coming up, another reason that Perloff and I are eating crow today. And we'll get to Brandon Staley. Oh, my gosh. What are we doing here, dude? I know this is like put it on repeat 2 years in a row. We'll get to that. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, it's time to answer our Ask the Pros question today, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Today's question comes from Jason in Fort Lauderdale. Are the Patriots cheating again by having a guy running to block the field goal? Great question. You can submit a question by tweeting at CBS Sports Radio or at Maggie and Pearl using the hashtag Ask the Pros. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. So the Patriots, of course, thought of another wrinkle to block a field goal last night on Sunday Night Football against Miami. Guy kind of...
Wait, we have it. We have got the clip.
Oh, okay, let's play it.
He got a piece of it. It was blocked off the edge by Brendan Schooler, and Duggar recovers on the other side of midfield.
Did you see that play? We talk about motion on offense. There's motion with Schooler on defense here. He gets the running start. We talked about what that could do to Tua. He blocked that so easily. You're about to see every special teams in the National Football League and college football put this play in their arsenal.
Have you ever seen that?
Never seen it.
Yeah, that's a new one.
So our buddy Dan Orlovsky said that there are going to be more penalties in the course of this season. Guys trying to time that and run over the line.
Yeah.
That we're about to see a pandemic of offsides on field goal attempts. But I wasn't surprised, Maggie, that it was the Patriots. It feels like the Patriots are the only team in the league that comes up with twists on rules.
I know, and you want to say that Belichick's lost his fastball at 70 years old, and he's already thinking up new things that are going to revolutionize the game.
I mean, are they really going to sit there for another 5-11 season? Or a 5-11 season?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be that bad. I don't think it's going to be 5-11, but I think this is proving the point that Belichick's still the innovator. There's still reason to be fearful of this guy. He's always going into his bag of tricks for stuff.
Yeah, okay.
He's played two tough opponents. I mean, played the Eagles on opening,
right.
The opening game, and then you have to face the Dolphins, who can beat you in a variety of ways, as we're learning.
Yeah, but you got to be able to beat the Dolphins at home. You're going to have, who are you going to beat? They have at the Jets, then they have at the Cowboys. I don't know. Do they win those games? Those are tough games.
The Jets. They'll beat the Jets.
I hope so.
Perloff, I think that Belichick has it. He's made a pact with a higher being, whatever you believe in. He's made that pact with the football gods that he will never lose to the Jets. It happened very rarely,
except in the playoffs and the
can't wait
divisional ring. Yeah.
Then he's got at the Patriots and at the Dolphins coming up not too far from now. They could really start to fall behind in this season, and then you question who's their quarterback of the future. And are they going to start over again next year? Remember Tom Curran, the reporter for the Patriots, said he's really on the hot seat. So I'm watching it. I am impressed by the running start. That was awesome.
That was really incredible how he timed it. Still lost, though. Okay, let's get to it. Time for Perloff and I to own up to our mistakes.
Even we can't be right all the time.
Samsonite. I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Time for Maggie and Perloff to own up.
All right, well, I'll go first, Perloff. Here's one that I got wrong.
Just a bit outside.
The NFC North, I have Chicago winning the division, and I have Detroit in as a wild card.
Okay.
Chicago winning, Detroit as a wild card. Ooh, wish I could have that one back. Chicago stinks. Justin Fields, talk about having a decision to make at the end of the year. If Fields keeps playing like this, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, lost one of them, I mean, just bad, Perloff. And the weather hasn't even gotten bad yet in Chicago. This should be like some good conditions, and still nothing here for the Chicago Bears.
Okay, I absolutely agree that he's not playing well, but what the heck is Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator, doing?
I don't know.
Why is he dropping back so many times? Why are they not running the football? He was 16 for 29 last night. They only carried the ball 15 times. Like, this is the Bears. They should be a run-first team. I feel like they're hurting Fields.
Well, I think the Tampa defense is pretty good. But, yeah, I mean, Justin Fields is on pace now for, like, 500 rushing yards. Last year he had over 1,000. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, he dropped back 29 times, and then he only ran 4 times for 3 yards. Like, you got to orient this team around running the ball, and you're going against the Bucs. The Bucs defense is great against the run. I don't remember that. I don't know anything. The Bucs are a mystery team to me right now.
They're 2-0.
But it just feels like the Bears' approach should be to protect Justin Fields by running the ball. So I think the coaches are the bigger problem here, but I don't know if he survives anyway.
What did you get wrong?
Well, my team won this week, but I am off that Giants bandwagon. Oh, God, are they ugly.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
My surprise wildcard team is in the NFC East. Big Blue.
Wow.
Let's go. Your former offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll, reigning coach of the year. I think he's a good coach. I think he has them organized. Okay, I got some problems on here for this playoff search.
I believe at one point, did you say the Giants were like a rocket ship at one point?
A rocket ship to the wild card.
Yeah.
Okay. They're 1-1, so that's fine, right? I'm not worried about that record.
Yeah.
I am a little worried, Maggie, that they're going to San Francisco without Saquon on a short week. That's a big L. Then they host the Seahawks on Monday night. Okay, maybe. Then they go to the Dolphins and to your Bills. Yeah. I mean,
they didn't score for 3 quarters. For how many quarters?
They got some problems, Maggie.
6 quarters?
It all comes down to the October 29th Jets-Giants Battle Royale. Should be a 6-3
wow.
game. 6-3 game. Yeah, I really want that one back because, actually, I don't hate Daniel Jones. I think, he's going to put up numbers. He's not that bad. Is he that bad? Tell me he's not that bad. I don't think he's that bad.
I mean, I told you I didn't think that he was going to have a great season. And through the first, 2 game and a half, it looked as bad as it could be. And to their credit, they came all the way back from a 20-point deficit. But yeah. I don't have a lot of faith.
I don't know what you do this week against the 49ers because Fred Warner's on an absolute mission this year. There's nothing you can do. Daniel Jones should just try and get out of that game healthy.
Well, the other part, too, is you find yourself in a 20-point hole against San Francisco, you're not coming back. Like, they came back on the worst team in the league, possibly. So, kudos to you. It's like, good job on coming back against a team that is clearly going to be trying to get the number 1 overall pick. So.
Right. Honestly,
it's like you actually help them by losing.
I know Daniel Jones is really a 2-year contract, $82 or $83 million.
Yeah.
They have to think about, wow, what if we're really bad and have a top 5 pick? I know we paid for Daniel Jones, but would they look at a quarterback if one is sitting there? It's going to be a great quarterback class.
Definitely. I mean, this is the regime that paid Daniel Jones, but they're not the regime that drafted him. So I think they would 100% try to start over, yes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this year's draft, if you're in top 5 and those quarterbacks are sitting there, even if you pay Daniel Jones, it's a sunk cost. I don't know what to do.
YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio if you want to watch the show. Aram Wilson said, Maggie, when my OSU Beavers beat your Ducks in the Civil War, you have to run a chainsaw on the show. I'm sorry, but we went through this with the Carson Wentz poster when we destroyed it on the set. HR frowns upon us running heavy machinery in the studio. But, I mean, if you have any other ideas, you can send them our way.
That's the worst idea ever.
Chainsaw's a no-go.
I can see that getting out of control quickly.
Ackerman, what do you think? Me running a chainsaw in the studio. How would that end?
As long as I'm in the control room, we're okay.
That's double pane glass then between the two of us.
I would want to be in 2 control rooms over. I don't even want to be in that control room.
Somehow we could get away.
What if Maggie flung it through the glass or something?
What am I, like Stone Cold Steve Austin? What am I going to do?
I don't know. I just can't see that going well. Not that I don't trust you with heavy machinery, but I definitely don't.
I don't look like someone who handles heavy machinery.
I don't know. Are you good with fixing things and saws?
Absolutely not. So I married an engineer. 855-212-4CBS.
Did you guys have metal shop and wood shop where the first 3 days they warned you about all the ways you could lose your eye in these?
And fingers?
Yeah, and fingers, and just tell horror stories.
The fact that I have all 10 fingers and both eyes is amazing.
And think about it, for what? To make like a sign that says the Grays.
Yeah.
Like the Perloffs to hang out front of your house.
I think the teachers just like telling those stories about what could happen. I did metal shop, and basically it's like, if you get out of this class with both arms, you get an A.
I know our wood shop teacher used to sneak smoking cigarettes in the area of the wood shop where they had all the flammable lacquers.
You told us the story.
Yeah.
Mr.
Haggerty.
And there he is smoking.
May he rest in peace. Yep.
Oh, you're going to say his name?
Well, I mean, I was friends with his daughter. Yeah, he was great. Lovely guy. I mean, basically almost exploded the building every day, but really prince of a dude.
Maybe inhaled a little too much of that finisher.
Honestly, what's worse, the lacquer or the Marlboros? I don't know.
Do you guys still have anything that you made in shop class? I still have a few things.
Yeah. I was just at my parents' house this weekend. There's I made a sword in wood shop. It's been sitting
Game
there
of
for
Thrones,
years.
Perloff.
Yeah.
What are you, a Lannister?
And it's so bad. I thought it was amazing at the time. It's so bad. I made it in 7th grade. It looks like a first grader made it. It's like uneven. It's not sharp anymore.
To be honest, I was worse at home ec.
Loved home ec.
Sewing things.
I can believe that.
Yeah, thank you. I'm terrible. Couldn't sew anything. Wood shop was not bad. But yes, making it out with all your fingers was a real accomplishment. Do they even do that anymore?
I don't know. Why did that guy want you to run a power saw? He didn't even say what the purpose was. Just to run it?
S's and G's. I'm not sure. To say we did. Believe me.
Like, does he want you to cut something with it?
If we, maybe I don't know,
is that
the duck suit, maybe.
What's that?
The duck suit.
Oh, take a chainsaw to the duck suit?
What do you get when you win the Oregon State game?
It's all of a sudden like Scarface. Like, I'm going to be cutting off the limbs of a duck suit with a chainsaw. It's really dark. Sorry.
What do you get when you win that? You know all this.
You get an axe, don't you?
You get an axe? So that's what this chainsaw is about?
Wait, is it an axe?
I thought the axe was Wisconsin, Minnesota.
You might be right
it
about
says you get a platypus trophy.
Well, of course. Every diehard Oregon fan knows that, just like me.
Yeah, because it's a combination of a beaver and a duck. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything that lends itself to a chainsaw, but...
Maybe the Pacific Northwest, lots of trees. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Listen, if we couldn't get the chainsaw with the Carson Wentz poster, there's no shot we're getting the chainsaw now. They said no chainsaws. They said no to the lighter fluid. So we did what we could. We brought a baseball bat. And we did the best we could. 855-212-4CBS. Oh, Aram says that's the Beaver celebration. After a good play, they run chainsaws.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Should have known
makes sense.
Yeah. There was a lot of people brought up this weekend that Bison and the Colorado game. A lot of people hadn't watched Colorado football in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's way out of control.
Yeah, it's real.
Ralphie?
Oh, Ralphie. Ralphie looked like he was going to do some day. He got all fired up by Deion and is causing trouble out there.
Do you believe that? Oh, boy. 855-212-4CBS. Coming up, we got some picks for tonight's doubleheader Monday Night Football game. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio. We continue after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flag.
Well, Michigan State is firing football coach Mel Tucker following allegations of sexual misconduct. He has 7 days to respond to those allegations, but he will be fired with cause, which would terminate his contract, and he would be owed nothing remaining. Patrick Mahomes, the NFL's best quarterback now, may be paid that way as well, as the Chiefs restructured his deal to give him over $210 million through 2026, making him the highest paid player over that span. The two sides can also revisit renegotiating in 4 years. Joe Burrow got his deal but has been sidelined by a slow calf, and head coach Zach Taylor said he's unsure if Burrow will be able to play next Monday night. The Dolphins' Jalen Waddle is in concussion protocol. Saquon Barkley of the Giants is out several weeks after suffering a sprained ankle. The Giants will take on the 49ers on Thursday. The Cardinals have put Budda Baker on injured reserve. Doubleheader tonight for Monday Night Football. The Panthers and Saints are up first. The Steelers will host the Browns as well. Baseball today, the Royals defeated the Guardians 6-4. I'm Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio is everywhere. At home, in your car, and of course on your phone and tablet. Find us on your local affiliate, SiriusXM, Channel 158, or the free Odyssey app.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Got some picks for you for tonight's Monday Night Football doubleheader in just a moment. But first, our shot of the day.
He shoots!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila is brought to you by those who drink it. Earlier, we had a conversation off of Colorado beating Colorado State and in double overtime, and the students and everyone stormed the field and rushed the field, which led us to this.
Storming the field against Colorado State?
It's college kids.
Storming
Let them have
the field
fun.
when you're a 24-point favorite? Come on.
Here's a
Act
question.
like you've been there, Colorado.
Act like they've been there. They won a game last year. They haven't been there in 20 years. If you're a student section, you want to storm the court, go ahead. Do it whenever you don't yuck their yums.
So they beat Arizona State. You stormed the field?
If it's a double overtime and you were down, you come all the way back.
So wait, like North Carolina beat App State the other day in overtime. Like they were supposed to storm the field?
I don't remember the App State coach calling out the North Carolina coach for wearing sunglasses and a hat.
Jay Norvell said 8 words that the media blew into telling you can. That's okay. That's why we're storming the field, because Jay Norvell's, whoever the heck that is, said don't wear sunglasses inside. Let's storm the field.
You know what? Yes, I stand by it.
Yeah, but if you storm
North Carolina should have stormed the field.
You storm it 6 times, then it just becomes like something you have to do. It's like, gotta storm the field.
I know, what a burden.
It's supposed to be special.
But it's also supposed to be fun.
Do you remember that time we stormed the field after so-and-so beat so-and-so? Like, that is supposed to be a memory of a lifetime, not something you do every week
You
for
think
4
anyone
years.
there actually is going to remember anything that happened? Everyone's so loaded.
I just don't think it's going to be special if you do it every week.
Nah. I mean, listen, for Colorado, the whole season is now setting up to be special. So, you storm the court a little too often. You know what you're doing. All you're doing is just playing right into Deion's hand right now. He's going to find this, and it's going to be bulletin board material for his next opponent, which is my Oregon Ducks. So thanks for nothing.
And made it personal.
I think the best, though, is Tennessee. To storm the field, then take the goalpost down to the river. Now that's taken to a new level.
Yeah, well, you beat Alabama for the first time in whatever it was.
Yeah.
You should
That's
do it.
worth storming the field.
I know.
Beating Colorado State in double overtime is not storming the field worthy.
Listen, everyone's at a fever pitch. They're at a frenzy. They haven't had success in a long time, and all of a sudden you guys want to apply logic to the situation like that ever exists in college, let alone college sports. I say go ahead and storm.
All right.
Also, I think the more live mascots, the better. We already have quite a few.
The animals, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, to make sure
the
it's
people
humane.
wearing the furry hats.
No. Well, we're going to get those no matter what.
They're technically live mascots.
Yeah, that's true.
So are you on Dan Campbell's side, live lion on the sidelines?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big time.
Creepy.
Why not? Put it back to the zoo.
Someone is getting
bald?
Detroit could use him on defense. This live lion.
I know. How about that? Again, Detroit has to be waking up today. Just like, how did we lose that game? It was
they're down 31-21.
No, but it was like all of a sudden, in a span of 5 minutes, I feel like the game just flipped.
Yeah, I guess so. But their defense is terrible again. That's what I thought they
have not fixed the problem.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle's pretty good. I don't think Seattle should have got blown out in week 1. Geno looked really good, but I don't know what to make of those Lions. I think you don't. Here's where we differ. I don't think you have to be that great to win the NFC North.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I mean, considering Green Bay lost yesterday on the road to Atlanta.
Yeah, Green Bay's
Minnesota hasn't won yet.
Green Bay's going to have injury problems all year long. Bakhtiari's clearly only going to play on grass. Yeah, this is a messy division. Your Bears, probably not going to get it done.
Yes, my Bears. I mean, you pick them to win the division as a long shot, and all of a sudden they're my Bears.
Well, it's just 2 weeks.
It doesn't matter. what's going to change for the Bears?
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to have a major situation about what's going to go on with the quarterback. I have no idea what they're going to do. Okay, tonight, doubleheader. First game up, you got, these are two barn burners, too. You know you're going to have a good night of football when the over-under on the first game is 39.5 and the next game is 39. Not expecting a lot of scoring here, Perloff. Do you feel strongly about either of these games?
I think the Saints-Panthers is one of the least aesthetically pleasing matchups that I remember in a long time. Because the Panthers have no weapons, so they're going to have to slow down the games. And the Saints are really a defense-first team, too. What time's that, 7 o'clock?
I believe 7
Eastern. You know, I've just been a non-believer in the Panthers. I'm not a huge believer in the Saints, but I feel like Carolina just has no weapons on offense. So I'll go Saints. Do you want to do that game? And then
I can't tell. Like, is there a world where the Saints are good? I don't know.
Like how good? Like 9-8 good?
Like winning the division good?
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty heavy favorites.
I know, but now the Bucs are 2-0, and I don't know. Are the Bucs any good?
No. Who did the Bucs beat? The Vikings and the Bears? Come on.
I know, but I don't know. I have no idea.
I feel like the Saints are destined to be 9-8. Now, will that win the division? I don't know.
Probably. I mean, it was good enough last year to win the division, right?
Yeah.
If I were going to bet this game, I actually don't like it personally. But if you're gonna, I would just go with the home dog, and I would probably just go with Carolina money line because it's plus 140 as opposed to just laying the 3 points personally. But I'm not going to bet this game. I have already bet Cleveland and the Steelers.
Which way?
Money line bet on the Steelers. I think they got embarrassed. They obviously got embarrassed week 1 at home against the 49ers. I don't think that's really who they are. They're a 2-point underdog against the visiting Cleveland Browns, and so I'm not going to take the 2 points there. Feels meaningless, so give me the money line.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I totally agree with you. Here's what the Steelers need to do, though. And the bet I would make is under on Kenny Pickett passing yards at 203. Mm-hmm. You got to run the ball. Last week against the Niners, they fell behind and fell. I don't care. Just run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. They only had 10 carries last week compared to 46 pass attempts. I really like that guy, Jalen Warren, in the I fell for a lot of Steelers preseason hype, but Jalen Warren, their backup running back, is awesome.
I think Perloff saying he fell for some of the preseason hype is an understatement. You picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
I still feel good about that.
Okay.
I think they're going to be...
That's just not run-of-the-mill falling for the hype.
If they fall to 1-6, you know Tomlin's going to win 8 straight or something like that. I think they have to be real conservative here because there's someone on the other side of the ball that I'm terrified of. Myles Garrett.
Yep.
He's going to be honing in on Kenny Pickett. If you drop back 46 times tonight, that's a strategic disaster. I like your pick right there. So you said it was plus 110?
Yeah.
Surprises me the Steelers at home are underdogs.
Yeah, I think it's a reaction off of how bad they looked against the 49ers. But the 49ers might be the best team in football. They're 1 or 2 up there with the Cowboys.
Well, wait. What about the defending NFC champion?
Oh, okay.
Wait. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree. I think the Niners and the Cowboys haven't looked like the two most dominant teams.
I mean, the Eagles are 2-0. I'm not going to start throwing major praise around.
No, I know. It feels a little TBD. They haven't looked as impressive as those two teams. I think the Niners are the most impressive team. They feel a little more complete than the Cowboys even. But you've said it from day one with the Niners.
What's that?
All the talent in the world. Let's see who's on the field by week 9.
As long as McCaffrey's healthy, this thing keeps churning. And like Debo's awesome and Ayuk and everything. I fear the moment he goes down.
He's so good.
To be honest, though, low-key, not even low-key, the number one story in the NFL today, I think, really is Joe Burrow's calf. I mean,
wow.
We've talked a little bit about it, but now we're talking about the AFC North with the Browns and the Steelers playing each other. Ravens already off to a 2-0 start. And Cincinnati, I know there's that, Cincinnati always starts off slow. Well, you want to know what's different this time? Joe Burrow's hurt.
Yeah, and he might not even play next week, they're saying now. That is very worrisome. I think there are a lot of people's Super Bowl picks. You and I did not pick them.
No.
But it feels a lot different than last year.
Yeah, because the defense doesn't look very good. Again, that could change. Lou Anarumo is the second half adjustment god.
Yeah, I know, but we have that rule, Maggie.
I know.
We're not supposed to bet against Joe Burrow, and we're not supposed to bet on the Atlanta Falcons.
We're only holding up one of those. No bets on the Falcons. One day we'll learn our lesson. Any day now. Thank you to Mike Samter. Thank you to Stu Kovacs. Thank you to the Weedos, the Purple Drinkers, callers. You guys are phenomenal. Enjoy the Monday Night Football doubleheader. We'll see you tomorrow.